what's up, everybody? How you doing today? Nice to see you in. I'm Kane and this is The Purge. I hope you're having a great Monday. And I got a confession to make. Oh, you can't. Let me take this stupid thing off, background thing. I can't see the chat yet because I literally just got out of the shower. Shit. I've been putting on, like, yeah, I'll do that in a minute, You do 10 million other things, and then Sleuthie Sweetheart Latest Story. Hello, Megastar Mama Kimmers zipping y'all. Amelia Outlaw, great to see you. We're going to talk about your hubby there in just a minute. Now, put a 1 in the chat, or 1, 2, 3, or 4, if your favorite Kane is red Kane, green Kane, yellow Kane, or blue Kane. Donna Salamander, welcome in. Woke up 1984. Always a pleasure, my dear. Big Mikey's back. Okay, I had a Big Mikey story, and I started a live the other night late, like at 1 a.m., and he was up in there, and then I was using StreamYard, which is the dumbest thing I've ever done. All right, if this drops out again, Mikey, you better come back, because I'm going to take this filter off so you can see my place here. It's wonderful. It's a beautiful, clean 1965's trailer. Actually, I think it was built in 63. Wow, that worked well. I am sweating to the olds, and I know the fans are loud. I apologize. I apologize especially to you, Donna Salamander. I know it bothers you. I'll try to turn it down. I'm trying to cool off. Victorini, hi. Echoes of Clarity. If I missed anybody, like Lucy, I did it on purpose. There's Joey. I had to tell Joey 10 times. Michi Girl's here. Very good to see you. Okay, so, man, I have some breaking news. Mews. I might as well just start with Mews today, but let me tell you the lady story. So, she came and cleaned. As you can see, I think it's backwards right now, but anyway. So the floor is clean, and she didn't clean the toaster oven. I got pork chops cooking in there right now. So there's the pig head. And this is me, sweating the oldest. And so at every turn, I'm like, that dumb bee. She threw away my deodorant, and she was all like, Orna guys, something like that. She did organism. So I don't know what that's all about, but it's done. Whew, look at that bald head, boy. You can fit 5 heads right in there. So Sarge does. So anyway, yeah. Anyway, so that means that I am the Donna. Tony's here, and he's half free since '93. But you know, SD is in the house. He's representing, so nobody be tripping. Tony, what do you think, Tony? Should we open a? Yeah, I need to cool. I've been waiting all day for this. Today's show brought to you by Pink Drink. It's the delicious flavor that everyone loves. Brought to you by Satan himself. All right, here we go, and bless all of you for being here. And oh, Miss Potts, I was hoping you were going to do OBS on the phone. I've been waiting all day for her to hear that. She ignored it like 6 times in the chat, and I was like, nope, I'm going to get my message. So here we go. Oh yeah. Twiz is watching. Alright, so here we go. We got all the big heavy hitters in here. Sleuthie Sweetheart, otherwise known as Stormy. And I will skip over... I know you're disappointed. You want JJ. I'll skip over the thingy-ma-dabber there real quick. And I'm going to pop this up. Just for the first story. We're not going to do all of Mews. This is Mini Mews. Just like the Mini-Me in my thumbnail there. And yeah, Lana, if you're happen to be watching, you're welcome to use any of my AI stuff for you on your show. I know you'd probably get a kick out of some of it. We like to pick on Mr. Hippler, Mr. Pimple, Mr. Pimple Attack, Panic Attack. Oh gosh, Trish has guys just beating her door down. And now she wants to join a dating app, which I don't understand. All right, here we go. Did I dox you? Yeah. All right, it's time. Wait, what? Okay, I gotta Click on it, Kane. There you go. It's time for mini Mews. And we're going to start with the first story that I'm looking for. Where could it be? Mini me? Where is it? I think it's right here. Gotta turn this darn thing. Well, that's for later. Don't get excited. Okay, little Debbie snacks are our flavor. It's here, I promise. Wait, is that it? Ah, there it is. And you thought I was lying. So you guys may have heard this already. I don't know. It's been out for 9 hours now. Excuse me. Oh, going into the oldies here. Let's see. Okay, so West Richland, Washington hires former Moscow, Idaho police chief as new chief of police. Can you believe it? The city of West Richland announced Monday that it hired the guy who's got 29 years of lying behind him. And on June 30th, they announced James Fry has been hired as a new chief pong. And Fry brings with him near 30 years of experience. They really embellished it. Began his career in the Moscow PD in 93, and he's been truth-free since 93. As a reserve officer and rose through the ranks. I hope Jeff H isn't in here. I don't want to insult him, but today, I'm going to give him and rose through the ranks over his 29-year career, becoming chief in 2016. Chief Fry oversaw the department as it came under national scrutiny in relation to the 2022. Then he left. Chief Fry built a reputation for strong leadership, integrity, and deep commitment to the communities he served. Fry is an an alumnus of University of Idaho with a bachelor's and a master's degree in criminal justice. He is also a graduate of the FBI National Academy in... Where is that, JJ? Tony. Quantico. It's not the other one. What was the one I was trying to find? Slapahoe or something? Slapahoe, Virginia? Anyway. Yes, we are excited to welcome Chief Fry to West Richland. And maybe the atrocities will follow him everywhere he goes. And there he is. The proud chief. They photoshopped him and gave him a good tan. Unless maybe he was fishing. Maybe he was. Alright, that's just the Mews teaser. And now we're going to... I know what you came here for. What's up, Unc? And we're going to say it and not spray it. Let me get that thing up. I can do it. That's what she said. Here we go. Boom, boom, boom. Maggie, waggy, waggy, waggy. Everyone is saying BK accepted a plea deal. Do I have to go back to Mews? I guess I do. What? Thank you very much, Meg, by the way. And always bringing the hits here. I don't know why you prefer me over all the other lovely creators. I am one of the prettiest. I was looking at my face in the mirror and I was like, man, no amount of lotion can improve this beautifulness. And happy July almost, everybody. America's birthday is coming up. Let's make it a country worth keeping. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, really. So let's go back to Mews and see what's Ethan Chapinin over here. Wait, that is it too soon on that one? Yeah. Okay, so that would be in Mews break. Alleged Walmart theft. Out-of-state witnesses. I just checked this before, and Newsbreak isn't always up to the latest news, so let's take a look on the YouTube streets for Meggy Leggies. It wouldn't make any sense if he did. Maybe he wants to get out of... it's a question mark. I've learned blah blah blah. Let's take a listen. Brian Koberger guilty. Signs plea deal. Well. That's from let's live stream her live stream, shall we?
Makes more phone calls, but as John outlined, who else going to respect their privacy this time?
Me
because
too.
They were sent letters by authorities, prosecutors, and obviously the defense attorneys, probably with the blessing of a judge, if he's been looped in at this time, coming to agreement on a plea deal that pulls the death penalty off the table. Bryan Kohberger is expected to plead guilty to all counts charged against him. Those are the parameters that we have right now. Much more coming up tonight on Nonstop Local KHQ and major developments on this story as we get them. But once again, Bryan Kohberger, his defense team, accepting a plea deal for the murders of 4 young students, University of Idaho on King Road. All 4 of those victims killed in a short span of time, and Bryan Kohberger is accepting responsibility. The families want none of it. They wanted a trial. They wanted conviction.
See, this is where I'm confused as shit, right? He's supposed to discuss all plea deals with the victim's family. Aren't they supposed to agree, right? Like, aren't they supposed to, like, get their agreement on something so drastic? No, no technical confession. They just, like, offered him a plea deal that took some crap off the table and he accepted it. But no information. See, I'm just so confused. Yeah, the stuff that happened with the fire yesterday was wild. Yeah, this says nothing. I need answers. Yeah, informal and disconnected. Some damn letters. Insane. Insane. Yeah, thank you for the $5, Red. I can't help but think the 2 firefighters shouldn't be connected in Idaho. I mean, I don't know. I don't see how it possibly could. I don't know how. I mean, I know the timing is weird and it's going to get a lot of people thinking that, but I don't know. I don't know what to think at all. Thank you for the $4.99, John Doe. This leaked. No one wants this type of backlash that will come. I mean, that's what I'm like really confused about too. Like, we have this leak investigation going on right now with the special prosecutor. Why are we doing this right now? I don't understand it. I really don't. Hold on, I gotta get this up here.
Holy shit.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand.
They want justice. They are furious. At least the Gonsalves families are. Other families like the Chapin family, just emotional and heartbroken. You can imagine all that pent-up emotion over these last several years as they have been waiting for justice. And then it comes.
Where's it at? Yes. This should mean everything would be unsealed. I don't see how it couldn't be. Like, if they're getting everything that they're asking for. But that's my problem, though. Like, why would they, knowing that we could do that? Like, I feel like they're still going to have stuff that we can't see. And remember the last document that we just went over, they, like, dug into something else, and they were trying to say that, like, there was something else, like, that was a
Let's hear
red
Tommy
flag
yell
when it
about
came
it,
to, like,
maybe.
Brian's
Hold
history.
on.
So I don't know if
Wow, bro. What happened? Turn the audio on. Excuse me. What happened? Oh, I paused it.
well, that wouldn't even make any sense either because the state didn't even get that information. The redacted version that the public got is the one that the state got. I don't know. I'm so confused.
Comes in this form. This breaking story, updates on it when we get it here in the newsroom. I'm Sean Owsley, Nonstop Local KHQ.
Aren't they supposed to get their agreement to get them to be like, yes, that's okay? I'm so confused.
So something's up. Something's up. I don't think one of us in here believes he's guilty. Hey, what's up, Tommy boy? Or Tom, me boy. I never get it right. It's Tommy. It's Tom boy. I know that. James Mono's Mimi422. GG. And let's say I said hi. Oh my gosh, what do you guys think? What are you guys thinking? Trish saying he's probably a Fed. And this might be to suss out the real guys. I don't know. Has he, JJ Vance, who we'll get up here in a minute, hopefully. Let me open that up so he can just jump right in. A lot to talk about here today. Let's give him his 7 minutes. As soon as I extend my offer, we know the deal. Hula burgers in 7 minutes. It's really all I can afford at this point. Wow, bro. Wow. We all thought he never would accept that plea deal, yo. But there it is on the table. No DP spends the rest of his life in the clink. Alright, JJ, if you're out there. Susan, hello. Welcome in. Oh, Tonka Truck's up here. Hi, Miss Potts, darling. So nice to see you. I hope you have a safe trip home. You have a nice time up there, staying in a nice hotel in Philly. I have to admit, I'm a little jelly. And let's see. Okay, so all right, let's. Whoa. I don't even know what to say. No appeal. Let's check back in with Jules before I go to my thing.
Thank you for the $9.99, Selena. I'm so mad from the Poconos. Appreciate your factual presentation and always you calling out the boo-boo. Yeah, I just want facts. Like, this doesn't answer anything. This doesn't take away literally any question that we have. Literally at all.
Rowie, looks like Koberger took a plea deal.
It has to be only members because it's the last Monday of the month, and my members only lives are on the last Monday of the month, and I'm obligated. That's just what I have to do for my members.
While she's on the topic, free membership Thursday is coming up here. Oh snap! Here's the link, Jage. If you want to come right up, bro. There we go. We are purging, and wow, I can't wait to hear what you have to say about it. We have a lot of things to talk about for sure. Let's get back to Jules.
That's why I'm live now. So tonight's has to be members only. That's only fair. Yeah, but the FBI guy doesn't even make any sense for what he said because the 2015 Hyundai Elantra does not have a navigation system that would do what they're trying to claim would be doing. Unless it was connected a different way and it's worded differently.
What are the chances that this happened, or just, I guess it just broke, Megs? Is that what just, I mean, right as I go live, this breaks. This is inscunity.
For the 2015, there's no SIM card activity from anything that we have found online. If you can go find a report that says otherwise, feel free to email
it to me. All right, put a 1 in the chat and a 2 if you don't. If you think that Moscow PD has their man and they finally proved their case beyond a reasonable doubt that they knew that Koberger wouldn't be able to get off, and put a 2 if you don't agree with that. Let's go on. My goodness. Wild.
But I even went and got his Carfax today. $50 for really a lot of nothing, honestly. And I don't really see a bunch of information that would lead me to believe that it has any of that extra stuff in it either.
That's
nothing,
for sure.
Exactly. Nothing is going to come out.
I don't see how he could do it by himself, James.
And for those of you who don't
know, we've always wondered, maybe he was part of it.
Channel in the,
wonder what the plea deal was.
Can you put the name of your other channel in the chat?
Be interesting
he
to
did
hear.
A forensic video that shows.
Scoop ahead here on her.
I mean, I was thinking about calling the court, but it's 5:30. I don't even know if they're still open.
This is absolutely insane. Chelsea
let me see.
Whitaker, my girl.
State v. Koberger. This is the... I'm in Texas, and Texas is a one-party state, so me having this on, if they
That would be a big negative, Jage, so far, from what I've heard. We shall see.
Answer, and having it on recording is legal before anybody wants to say anything ignorant. But with a gag order, I don't know if they're going to be able to give me any information.
Definitely have to take a grain of salt, News Nation, but that's a pretty big story to just completely fabricate.
Press 1. For a video court link or to speak with someone in the court administrator's office,
it is 3:30.
To request audio,
I think they shut down the court at 4.
I guess that's the one.
While I transfer your call.
You might have gotten in there just in time.
Thank you for calling the TCA office. Your time is very important to us. Please hold until the next representative can take your call.
That's what we're hearing, Jage.
I don't know if that's the right department.
Administration.
Hi, yes. I was wondering if I could speak to somebody that could answer a question regarding the Brian Koberger case.
So we are being directed to just give out an email. So I do have an email that you can send your inquiry to, and somebody will get back to you.
Is it the one on the website, the Koberger case at 88? Okay. So you can't confirm if he's accepted a plea deal as of today?
No, I can't.
Okay. All right. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
I'm sure I'd get the same answer, Annie, that Jules did.
Okay. Well, I tried. I mean, y'all said
Who
call.
could I call?
I'll call.
I could call Nick.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's probably a yes. I don't see why they would be on mainstream media running a ruckus. You know what I mean? If it wasn't true. I'm just really just shocked. Taking death off of the table. What do they know? Yeah, that's a great freaking question. Thank you for the 199, Raphael Penguin. Maybe it is an offered plea. I don't know. I want the freaking information. Thank you for the 499, Shelly. Wouldn't Idaho court post something that he accepted a plea deal? That's what I said. That's why I'm so confused, because literally, like, this is today's date, y'all. And just like I said, the case summary, like, let me get this out the way so you guys can see it one more time. The case summary is dated today at 12:38 p.m. Boise time. And they are posting stuff still as of today about the questionnaires for the jury. So that's why I'm so damn confused.
Let me read this article. So this is Mews today. Mews went completely kabonkos. Brian Koberger accepts plea deal in Idaho state case. Idaho suspect Brian Koberger has accepted a plea deal to spare his life in the case. Koberger is accused. Gonzalez family on a Facebook page her parents created after condemned the deal, which spares his life. We are beyond furious at the state. They have failed us. Please give us some time. This was very unexpected. All four had been stabbed multiple times with a large knife. Police recovered a Kbls sheath that allegedly had his DNA under Maddie's body. Koberger was studying for a PhD in criminology at Washington State University in Pullman, 10 miles from Moscow. The plea deal came as a surprise. Prosecutors had not telegraphed the move and fought hard to keep the death penalty on the table in pre-trial proceedings. Koberger's defense failed repeatedly to have it removed, revealing his autism diagnosis and crying foul over discovery deadlines. It claimed that prosecutors missed. Judge Stephen Hippler was unmoved by the arguments from his team. The latest Div. This is a breaking news story. Check back for updates. Original source article. Let's click on this. Well. Interesting. Very interesting. Let's see if there's anything more to this here. some stuff. Let me click on... Man. Well, you guys... we sure have gotten to know each other and spent a lot of time together, haven't we? On this. Now, there is another case blooming with seeming corruption. I'll get to that. I'm not trying to smooth the shock on this one at all. It is just... What? Why? The lengths the state went to lie. The covering up of the car. The discovery. The cell phone data. Why would they do all that if he was guilty? This is... I know each and every one of you out there wake up and first thing you do, look at the case. When you go to bed, it's the last thing you look at. And I'm the same. And I want to thank you all for being here every step of the way. I don't see anything. This is... Did you think this day would come? Yeah, he's calling to tell me what happened. That's my neighbor. The judge? Negative. What happened with the judge? What? Let me make sure I got the browser open. I do not have the browser open because I'm an idiot. Alright, let's see here. Browser. Do I have the browser open? Okay. So, man. It's okay, guys. Everything's going to be alright. Don't start breaking stuff. Like, I could see McVeigh went ready to go to Red Hulk mode right away. It's going to be okay. This is going to all work out. I would love to have podcast for Peterson. With Peterson on here. I don't know that she still has a channel. It's wild to me. Hold on, let me get the thing in the thing. Allow. And don't. Wait, how do I do this? I think, okay. How do I... Yeah. And then here, browser. Baby's half browser. Let me read the chat here in a second as soon as I get this all set for JJ. Wow. To say I'm shocked is, I mean, you have the advantage over me that I'm literally live on the tubes of you getting this news the same as you, and I can't hide my... I can't hide my reaction. Strange scenes inside the gold mine. Becky, and Femme. Wait, it's Femme atrocious or something? I'm just kidding. Tony Stevenson, always a pleasure. Very nice to see you. Well, if there's not going to be a trial, we'll try to do something creative with all the funds you guys have helped me with along the way here so far, and to go to Idaho, to get to Idaho, I'm this close to being there with everything, and I was just talking to Quiz. Hi, Kaibo. I was just talking to Quiz quiz twist. It's a quiz twist. That'd be a good little section of the show to do, a quiz twist about which Airbnb to book. And I can say that now because the whatchamacallit, there's not a whole lot of choices. Yeah, I'm not sure, Jage. I am not sure this is real world or not. Is he pleading guilty? Is that I just read the article. They didn't. Let me see if Newsbreak has any updates here. Okay, we haven't read this one yet. Okay. The family's mad. So, TT, really? This is going to keep popping up? There we go. Alright. Brian Koberger cuts plea deal. No DP. Victim's family furious. Brian Koberger may never face a jury for allegedly slaughtering 4 University of Idaho students. He has struck a plea deal to save his own life, and the family of one of the victims is furious. Koberger was charged with 4 counts of first degree, and prosecutors were seeking the DP. Koberger pled not guilty. Well, they entered a plea not guilty. According to the deal, Koberger will plead guilty, but prosecutors will no longer seek the DP. Instead, they will recommend life without the possibility of parole. So if they're recommending it, doesn't that leave it up to the judge? He doesn't necessarily have to go along with the deal, I guess. The family of Kaylee Gonzalez says, "We are beyond furious at State Idaho. They've failed us. Leave us alone. It's unclear why prosecutors were inclined to plea bargain the case. There was significant evidence placing Koberger at the scene of the crime, both before and after. It was a savage event. Koberger, who was getting an advanced degree in criminology at WSU, is scheduled to appear in court Wednesday for a hearing. Is Love Tina in here? I need that Love Tina. Meanie weenie. Meanie weenie. I need a pack of sidebars. I looked at the Dollar General and they didn't have any sidebars. Oh, Koberger, who was getting an advanced degree on Wednesday for a hearing. The trial was set for August, although now it looks like will be a case closed before that. Let's read some comments. Me too. I was hoping for the DP. He deserves to get unalived. I'm sorry to the families who were hoping for a trial. This is not right. Blah, 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 blah. Man punches shark. So think about, let's do a little walk down memory lane on this case, you guys. And you guys have been with me so loyally for so long. And so many of you stay from beginning to the very end, whether it's 6 hours, 15 hours, 3 hours. Lizzie 5717, welcome in. Please, if some of you, let me go back. I'm sorry, I meant to read the chat. I'm going to go way back here. We may have taken the plea deal, but with all the fed up stuff with the case, I won't be able to believe it. All the retirements and whatnot. It's a good point. Yeah, Amelia, you hit it right on the head there. And something I think we've all been thinking. You never hear prison calls from Brian. I'm starting to think he's not even locked up. Where you at, Juicy? What did she say? Like somebody called her out, and then I saw her something. Excuse me. Big Mikey has a good point. If this is true, AT involved from the start. Like I've always said, the judicial system works as a triangle. They get somebody in there. The prosecution throws its case, and the defense says, "Okay, whatever you say," and they work together to keep the system moving, to keep the meat going to market. How about this, you guys? I got an idea. Let's take our minds off it. We got the news. This is as earth-shattering as it could have been a purge. We're going to get Jage up here in just a minute. I've got like a 10-minute reel. It's funny. There's good stuff in there. Let's take our minds off it just for a minute. If you come across some kind of article with something that I haven't covered yet, please get ready to put it. And if you have something and you're not a mod, I'll make you a mod and you can post it, whatever. And then I'll take it away. So let's just breathe. Yoga style. Let's do some chair yoga, whatever it takes, and watch Kane's distraction here. And let's see what we got real quick. Big day, y'all. Big day. It hurts because I really feel a part of each and every one of you. And, you know, when you graduate high school, you know? Anyway. Hopefully that's not the case. We'll stick around. We'll still be purging, but this was our cause, and this is our case. And we have other things to do. We'll continue on. But, you know that song. All right, here we go. You know that old nursery rhyme, 6 squirrels in my grandmother's ranch. Okay, sorry.
It's such a way say since.
And of course the volume's not working. Hold on. Let's just get rid of that. Like, can I do it? Kane, can you do anything right? This is why we don't watch you ever. Oh man, Trish. If I didn't get a copyright strike on it, I'd play that song because it feels like one of those moments, and it's divine providence that, because I was like, I didn't even know if JJ was coming because I hadn't heard from him, which was odd. For a couple days, he's been busy as heck, I know. And then I texted Lucy, and I'm like, dude, have you heard from JJ? She's like, yep. Thank you, Lucy, for your. She's the best producer one could have. I'll recommend her for another job because she's fired. I'm not gonna block her again. I learned that lesson. She's got to make her rounds. She'll be back. You know what, Kane? Just shut up. Oh, here. This is a good. I promise you, this is a really, really, really good reel. And there's some stuff in there. And I'm not taking it back. It hasn't changed the way I feel. I'm sure you feel the same way. But, you know, we got to really think about things. And we've all had our doubts both ways. And anyway, here we go. It's working now.
It's such a way say since self-it brought my do it self-rights.
No! What? What the hell is wrong with you? It's like, I swear! No!
I honestly don't know. I don't know what's going on. Oh, wait, where's the window? Okay, I'm not. Oh, there. My bad. Okay, hold on. Was it? It was working the whole time, wasn't it? It was work. Let's just try one more time, because I think that opening. I didn't know that they put the audio on the AI video here of me. And it's Muppet language. I wanted to play it backwards like we did. Like I was saying, we've been through a lot together. Megs, think about it. We've played stuff backwards. We've looked at reflections. Even now, in the latest run, we're looking at stick figures. We're analyzing audio. We're hours and can think of because here's the thing. When you guys, like I say, you're here from beginning to end, many of you. I look at it and it's like one line almost straight across. And when you think of all the chats that you've chatted and all the thoughts that you've had and all the hours that you spent here together with me, with Lana, with Jules, with Tommy, and AR, and we're not dumb. We're not dumb. Collectively, especially, we're not dumb. Me on my own, I'll be the first to admit, I'm just a pretty face. But when it comes to this case, something smells rotten in Denmark, in my opinion. But let's get to the thing, and then I know we're waiting for JJ. Hang on. 10 minutes. Here we go.
Such a way. Say since self-fed from my duet self-rights.
No! What the hell is wrong with you? I swear! No!
I don't know if this is the right video to play right now.
Hey, Mario. Thank you.
Thank you.
I love you, man. I really do.
Thank you. I love you too. Thank you so much.
Thank you, baby. That means a lot.
I've never used or owned any distortion pedal.
Right.
Nothing. I always used the guitar, cable, straight to the amp. A lot of people, until they actually play my guitar through one of my amps, then they go, holy shit. I remember Billy Corgan from Smashing Pumpkins, he interviewed me once.
Right.
And it was up in the studio, and my rig happened to be set up, and I was playing. He walked in, and he kind of nervously said, can I try it? I go, sure. He turned it up, and it was just uncontrollable for him, And he goes, where's your distortion pedal? I'm going, there isn't one.
Right.
If you have a great sounding guitar, a quality instrument, and of course a good amp, and you know how to talk or make the guitar talk. That's the key.
For the video that I did in late February showing the Sacramento County deputies literally throwing an elderly woman out of their jail. Lots of updates. About 2 weeks later, their spokesman had a sheriff's podcast where they had the internal affairs people on, and they discussed this case.
Obviously, we've made the news. Some recent events, not in a really great light.
But their explanation about why they've provided no information is pretty lame.
A big criticism is, why aren't you guys talking about it? And why don't you have a statement? And the short answer is, it's under investigation. It sounds like a cop-out to a lot of people, but it's not.
Just a few days ago, that same spokesman gave an interview to the TV news where he revealed that just 4 days after their podcast, the deputy who actually did the throwing was fired. And he said that the investigation was now closed.
He was actually terminated by Sheriff Cooper on March 14th of this year. Obviously, the investigation began back in October and has since concluded.
Okay, they fired one bad apple. I don't know about you, but I count 6 police officers there in these videos. They left their faces blurred, they left them anonymous, and they closed the investigation. What about them? You can conduct all the interviews you want. There's nothing that they can say that will make what we see in the video, what we hear in the video, justified. They left her out there injured as they just walked in, like it was something that they do all the time. They got rid of one of the bad apples, but there are more. And if they're not going to discipline the others, they need to explain themselves. And they have not released any sort of report in this case. The best thing that you can do, though, is to share.
She hadn't moved yet. Oh, there she goes. Whoa, holy shit. Oh my God. Oh my.
Here he goes. He's going to hit some waves for sure, huh? Whoa. He's got one more set. Oh shit, he's going right up this one.
What's he doing out there? We'll always be there for you, Mama.
I want to answer that person's question. What happened that day, I do not know because I was not there. And with all of my heart, I truly wish that I was there because I think that if I was there the night that Brent got killed by the cops, if I was there, I believe Brent would still be alive. What I honestly think happened that night is I know that Brent did not like his roommates. They did not get along, and whether it was because he played his music loud or whatever, I don't know why, but I know that he didn't really like them very much. He didn't like anybody on the West Coast for that matter. What I think happened is they got into an argument. Brent was probably drunk. He was probably drinking, playing some music too loud or something. They got into a argument. Being in a situation like that with a gun involved, especially in this country, they're going to take it extremely serious. So the cops show up. I also think due to proximity in distance and in time, I think that since the murders happened about 20 miles away, about a month before, I think that the cops in their mind may have been like, what if this is that kid that killed those people? Like, what if it's that guy? And so they go in full defense mode. They talked, well, actually, there was quite a bit of a lack of communication. From what I was told, they did try to give him a phone to speak with them, like a negotiator or whatever. He would not talk to them. And after 7 or 8 hours, they decided to shoot him. I think the cops up that. I think they dropped the ball and it completely landed on mine and the family's foot. And I think that after they killed him, they were like, oh, this wasn't who we thought it was. It was just a kid with PTSD. We f***ed up. His room was empty when the family went in. His room was empty, and his cell phone was on the kitchen counter.
Damn right, Juice. Damn right.
I think that the cops were, I think they made a mistake. They covered their tracks. That's what I think happened.
Want a piece of us, those fools, do they want to This is a shot.
That is not just, that's like 4 shots.
Rip your throat out. Drink your blood, motherfucker.
Nothing.
Bombs are falling from the sky. We'll hit the target time December 5.
No way. Come on, girl. All right, up here. Come on. Let's go. Come on. Let's go. Come on. I hear you. You know you got to work for your food. Come on. Come on. Get up here. Come on. Come on. Get up here. Now who's that good girl?
Oh.
Here's the tornado that was down the street from my house the other day. And the lady was inside, FYI. She said it was like doing a Dorothy. know, it's so odd that it was my show that this happened on, and, you know, Jules went live and everything, but if this is the last time that we all meet together, I have to say that this is probably the smartest group of people I've ever rubbed elbows with, and it's been a pleasure knowing each and every one of you. If, you know, obviously we're going to have interest in, clearly, you know, Lana said that nothing's signed or official yet. It could just be a preliminary thing. This could be part of the whole magic act, as JJ would say. But in all reality, it is what it is so far, and we just have to kind of take it with a grain of salt. We have been planning between Rockford and I to do the street lives, and that may happen sooner than I thought. I'm working on getting a camcorder to do it so it's full screen. I know a lot of you do watch on your phones and stuff like that, but I do like it for the people that use their TVs and computers to have a full shot, and so we'll do the Kane talks to people, or like jaywalking kind of stuff around here in Largo, which is actually a fantastic town. I'm really falling in love with it. But anyway, I want to thank you guys all for, you know, just your support, and, you know, I've enjoyed being in everybody else. There's a lot of creators watching, and Dinky's here. Did somebody say Willie was here? I would really like to see Willie right now. I texted Twiz. I haven't heard back. I don't know what probably everybody's banging on his door right now, so that's fine. But hopefully maybe he'll call in the show. I'd like to hear a reaction from my brother Twiz. But yeah, thank you guys. So all right, let's five more minutes if that, 3 more minutes. So hang on.
Yo, KB, is that the name you claim? Rolling through genres, let me play this game. Rap like a madman, Eminem with the slang, spitting bars so sharp like a rap hangman. From YouTube fame to Idaho's wild ride, you're breaking it down, putting truths aside. Kane B got the purge, no doubt he's the king, breaking down the case like a YouTube machine. Kane B the purge, bringing heat in the booth. Facts on the table, there's no room for proof. Throwing down lyrics while the world's watching. Is it guilty or free? That's the question we're knocking. Kane B the purge, taking Idaho by storm. He's got the heat and the truth breaking the norm. We're all glued to this case, no one's letting go. Will Brian be guilty or will he be let go? Kane B's in the game, watch him lay it all bare. Will justice find the truth or just disappear in the air? Here's my bubblegum pop, you ready or not? Kane B's in the mix with the case so hot. Rap, rock, pop, he's switching it up. Dancing through the genres like a YouTube cup. Got Kane B, the purge, putting the story in flow. Breaking it down with humor, watch the case blow. Boom, Kane B's riding with electric groove. Breaking it down, yeah, he's on the move. He's got the purge, so come and watch him reign. Sipping on knowledge like it's truth on a train. Kane B the purge, taking Idaho by storm. He's got the heat and the truth breaking the norm. We're all glued to this case, no one's letting go. Will Brian be guilty or will he be let go? Kane B's in the game, watch him lay it all bare. Will justice find the truth or just disappear in the air? Now here I am, R&B vibes on deck. Let's get a little smooth, but don't forget I'm bringing humor.
Heather.
I'm bringing this sound, but this case got us all spinning round. KB with the truth, it's hard to ignore, like waiting for that next chapter in the lore. It's hard to ignore, like waiting for that next chapter in the lore.
Is this the Purge?
My name's Trevor. I'm with the Bail Bond Company. I need to talk to Antoine.
Girl Scouts?
Bail Bond Company.
How you doing there, bud?
Greetings, good sir. I'm not buying a single lick of it.
I didn't
think
you would.
If you're hungry, grab a sidebar.
Welcome in, JJ. We're hotly anticipating seeing you. And I'll play this guy trolling the cops in a second there. Welcome in, brother. How you doing? Let me get me on the screen, too. There we go. Jage is in the house. Oh, JJ down. JJ down. There's JJ. He came in like the immaculate reception over there. That was great. Great entrance, JJ. I love it.
There you go.
How you doing, sir?
I'm a showman. I aim to entertain.
How long did it take you to figure out that move?
7 minutes. 7 minutes.
Exactly. Let me turn down my fan. I'm finally cooled off here. How's the weather up there?
Oh, it's been a shit show, dude. I've lost power today. I just got my Starlink gremlins back up, so we're good to go now.
Oh, your Starlink was down, huh?
Yeah, we got sunshine. It was storming real bad all day.
JJ's got sunshine. I got espresso here as my backup to my pink drink.
I got sunshine in what appears to be a cloudy day, sir, but I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it.
They sure dropped the big old B-O-M-B on a plane, didn't they?
I think you're mispronouncing it. I believe it's pronounced bullshit. Bullshit.
Agreed, sir. I do have something after we get into it here for a minute, Jage. That's our new names is Kbls and Jage. It's like Tenacious D is Jables and Cage.
That's hilarious. I almost sent you a Tenacious D clip from Biodem earlier, but I decided to send you the the effing President Clinton clip instead.
Oh, I haven't looked at my email. I'll check that out in a second.
Yeah.
Witness protection. What does witness protection Larry have to say about this, I wonder?
I believe he says this is a hoax.
Man, there is
direct quote.
This is a stumper. I think Lucy put it best when she said that this has been the weirdest thing since day one. How did we expect it to go to trial and be public?
I've been saying, I mean, to be quite honest with you, I've long been confused how the state was going to present any of this case in trial, because we've kind of carved those details out over time here at the Purge. Appreciate folks purging with us. I don't know why you keep trying to break up with everybody, Kane, but I'm going to reserve my judgment until I see this plea deal myself, because as soon as I saw it, like I said, I chimed in there in the chat. I saw Brian Enton was the first one to start all this, and he quote unquote sources near the prosecution. So that's where all of this began. So let's wait and see is all I'm saying.
Fair enough. It's such a shocker, though. I'll tell you,
Well, let's review the circumstances we're dealing with today in the state court in Pennsylvania, as per I heard Ms. Potts earlier today dissecting the events that transpired there that she was witness to, and it sounds like that all these narratives about Brian being a boxer, Sugar Ray Brian Koberger, is bullshit.
Right, everything's bullshit, JJ. That's the thing. I was trying to list reasons, because when a guy breaks up with a girl, nobody can understand it. There has to be paperwork. There has to be video. There has to be all kinds of evidence. If a girl dumps a guy, yeah, he was a loser. So I can't get rid of these folks if I tried. I don't think. Rowie, Mittens for Kittens, Echoes, Heather, for God's sake.
Well, so do you see what I'm saying there? So we've been lied to so many times in this case, and the propaganda has been so extreme here to epic levels that how is this any different?
I mean, 5 minutes ago, the mainstream media, News Nation, didn't even know that the witnesses in Pennsylvania were for the defense, not the prosecution. So maybe they heard a rumor from one of their sources that this was going to happen, but they're breaking in on all the major networks, and even my drunk neighbor called me to tell me.
Kane, they knew that the subpoenas were for defense witnesses. This is, again, propaganda. So What I'm saying here is, isn't it weird that we get this new propaganda? Again, it's the timing and events that go on that transpire simultaneous to this propaganda that it seems like a distraction, right? So we learned today that Brian was not a boxer. Do we also hear anything about heroin addiction?
Not in the hearing today. No.
No, because there's no one to substantiate those claims in any respect of a court hearing or subpoena or witness statements.
It's girl addiction, by the way. Jage, just saying.
We're seeing a lot of these narratives fall apart, right? Yeah, I will restrict my verbiage to a PG rating, sir. Yes.
Appreciate it. No, yeah, all the facts that they put against him in the beginning, that not that they'd ever own up to it, but have been 150% BS.
So isn't it unique that we find ourselves in these circumstances where suddenly Brian Enton says that he's quoting sources near the prosecution that Brian Koberger accepted the plea deal. At the same day, we see more of their narrative falling apart.
So do you think it could have been?
Defense witnesses. Let's not pretend that any of the mainstream media are morons. They may act like it. They ain't stupid. They got attorneys. They knew those were defense subpoenas. They knew they were not prosecution subpoenas. Go ahead, sir. I'm sorry.
No, I'm listening right now. I'm starting to collect myself. I'm listening.
No, I cut you off though because I'm ranting. But please go ahead.
I don't even remember. I don't remember saying anything. Tony has something to say.
Tony, what do you got?
I'm pissed off about the whole thing. That's the first time he's spoken.
Holy shit! I hope he's not haunted or cursed doll you got there. I've dealt with those before.
He's an action figure.
That's where they start. I don't even know what that means, but that's where they start. So what are your thoughts on the Timothy McVeigh situation that popped off the other day?
Oh, I've given it some thought.
Figured you had.
And as far as alternate perpetrator cases, it is the one that, in my limited trial followings, that I remember being spoken about the most. Was it Timothy Nichols? Was the alternate perpetrator alleged in that case?
John Doe number 2, who was a CIA agent and son of the chief of staff of intelligence for the German intelligence agency at the time. Andreas Strassmeyer was his name. That's who was likely the John Doe number 2. The videotapes the FBI still has not released of the second man getting out of that Ryder truck. But that's an interesting thought. So one of the things that first came to mind when I was watching you dissect the court case the other day with that statement in it from old Judge Hippler there. He why is he quoting a federal case in a state court?
I believe he did that twice.
Yeah, but it has no jurisdiction.
I think he's sending messages. I thought he was sending messages through what court cases he was citing. It was like one after the other.
Now you're talking my language.
Well, it was even not just in the court case itself. It was in the title, like Meisterbrow, and all the different titles of the cases. I could go back and look again, but it was very telling.
It is very telling, I think. So let's just paint this picture. I'm just throwing this out there. I don't have any proof of this, but this is certainly a plausible scenario based upon the known knowns that we do know. As Donald Rumsfeld liked to say, the known knowns and the known unknowns. So we know that they have a federal grand jury used to collect the evidence in this case that the state would use and then shield from the defense. That much has been demonstrated and proven. We know that the federal grand jury convened sometime before the state grand jury. We don't know exactly when. What I'm saying here is, do they have a secret federal indictment against this guy through that grand jury, against Koberger, that they're now starting to have to divulge through these bullshit state proceedings? Again, this is a gross violation of everything we know of as jurisprudence in this country and constitutional rights. But what's new? Because everything else is a violation in this case. So what if this Hippler is now being forced to show his hand a bit, their hand, the states that is, and they really have a secret federal indictment that's behind the scenes of this, and they're just trying to play this out in the state court as long as they can, because they can move this. Herwick can move this to the federal court at any moment.
Okay, you JJ'd out for a second there. Go back in the way back. You should just start where you started on that again. For the people in the back row.
I zoned out, sir. What did I say?
If you don't mind, yeah, just repeat on por favor.
No, I Frank the Tanked it. What was I talking about?
Are you gonna come up on screen? We'd like to see your face.
I'm almost done with my doobie. I'm joking. So
of course.
So we know the bullshit that's gone on here in this case, legally speaking, violations of due process, et cetera, et cetera.
And don't forget Schindler's List.
Schindler's List. We know that Hurwitz has inserted himself in this case under no benefit to his own career, politically speaking or prosecutorial speaking. And we know that they used a grand jury from a federal court that Hurwitz would have had to been involved with as the U.S. attorney to collect the evidence that the state would use to attempt to prosecute this case. When I say attempt, all attempts have failed. And what I'm saying is that grand jury on the federal level very likely have their own indictment against Koberger that they're not telling us about. But we're starting to see the signs of it with Hippler's motions. You say it's a very telling sign. I think he's flagging their next move, and their next move is to drop the state charges, suddenly make that federal indictment from back in probably November of 2022, possibly December 2022, public, and then move this court case over to the federal court.
So you're saying it's a juke move? It's a spin move?
I think that's what I think. Yes, sir.
Huh? I hadn't even.
Because why else is he? Because what, dude? That has no jurisdiction. You know, the case law of a federal court serves no jurisdiction in a state court, and regardless of how dumb Hippler is, he understands that.
And yet he cited at least 2 cases.
There you go.
With federal. Interesting.
There you go. Because in the future they're going to have to stick to. They're going to continue arguing those 2 cases in case law, but they're going to do it in a federal court.
So, what did you think about the McVeigh reference?
2 words for you, sir. Idaho Contra.
Did you see my original thumbnail? Let me put it up. I don't know if you caught the original one that I put up.
Would you believe that Timothy McVeigh has direct connections back to that same white nationalist Nazi compound in and around Hayden Lake, right next to Rathdrum, Idaho, the same one that Mark Furman's connected to, the same one that's been connected to numerous acts of domestic terror, murder, and violence and robberies?
You know, and another thing that people keep talking about in chat, JJ, is the firefighters yesterday, and apparently, it was on the news, that mountain area is 1 mile away from the neo-nationalist camp.
Yes, sir. I took note of that. I had a lot of folks sending me that stuff last night, and I was reading about some of it today. It's very interesting.
Well, how so?
You just named it, dude. It's the proximity, right? It's the proximity and timing, right? What the fuck is going on in Idaho? We clearly don't have the full details, and I assure you, when I say Idaho Contra, I do mean that, but I mean the full scope. I don't understand.
And that's almost time for a sidebar right there. And
a sidebar? Long day at court? Grab a sidebar.
I think we're gonna have to start selling sidebars door to door, Jage.
I was gonna go with you to Boise to start selling sidebars outside the courthouse.
This was the original. I don't know if you can see it yet. Thumbnail I had for it today.
Can't do that. I guess we can't do that if they sign a plea agreement. We can't be selling sidebars in Idaho.
I don't know what I want to sell in Idaho, but this was the original thumbnail. Can you see it now? Up there. Which may turn out to be my last Koberger thumbnail. Who knows? I haven't broken up with everybody yet. Hang around, guys. I'm still around. I should do it. Let me do my slideshow. I'm sorry. Don't let me interrupt you, JJ. I got in your thoughts there. Sorry. Soda Legend, welcome in.
You're good, dude.
You're good. Welcome in. I'm sorry, JJ.
You're good, dude.
Right around.
I wasn't saying nothing. I was just listening to you.
Yeah.
I was waiting to see this cover art you mentioned, but I don't see it yet.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. It's up on the screen now. Hopefully, you can see it there. I'll move my big fat head. This was the original one.
Oh, it just popped up. Oh, I like the Smurfs. Got a little communist thing going on. There we go. Oh, an Idaho Contra. There you go.
That was Twiz's idea, just so you know. He's like, why don't you make the book Idaho Contra? Because originally I had it as
Twiz.
the book of Twiz, or whatever.
Good. I appreciate Twiz's recommendations there. That's good stuff.
Yeah, he's like, JJ will love it.
Oh, for sure, dude. And the commie necklace. That's like, you know, Flavor Flav style. That's great.
I wasn't sure if people recognized Hippler as a cult leader, so I changed it. I usually I'll get a couple more. Yeah, that's what they're saying about this whole thing, Jage, is that if part of this deal is that he can't appeal.
Dude, again, I'm not buying a lick of it yet. Until I see the document, I'm not buying it.
So why do you think that they would go to such lengths, you know what I'm saying, to put this out? And it very well could be just another press BS misinformation. I agree wholeheartedly.
Well, I've said for a long time that
in itself.
Well, you can't ignore the Meow report. It's a bombshell. I've said for a long time there's a PR. I'm convinced there's a public relations firm behind the orchestration of all of this propaganda against Kohberger, organized and perpetrated through Yayo Bob's buddy Graydon Carter and his employee Howard Bloom. Right. So on top of that, we have precedent of these PR firms in the past. We discussed the 1991 incident where the niece of the ambassador and member of the Kuwaiti royal family testified in Congress pretending to be a nurse that claimed that Iraqi soldiers were spiking babies on the ground, right? So we know that occurred. We know that was in our halls of Congress and in a hearing and televised to everyone in America and the world. And that was organized and orchestrated by a PR firm known as Hill Knowlton. They're still around. So what I'm saying here is we don't have that foresight now from here to 91, but what we'll know in the future is there was a PR firm behind all this. And in that PR firm, we see the same machinations and organizations with each instance of propaganda in this case. So in this instance, we see Brian Enton tweets, sources near the prosecution have told me. Again, what the fuck does that mean? And then everyone repeats it.
Nothing is saying that, what did you say back there? We don't have a judgment statement. That's the thing. It very well could be that they're claiming that they reached a plea deal to get this here. I don't know. It's so bizarre. The timing is.
But
here's
again,
the thing. When
let's focus on this one thing, though. Let's
Yeah.
focus on this one thing. We're operating under a statement made by Brian Enton, repeated by everybody, and that statement was "quote unquote" sources near the prosecution.
And also, oh, dude, what a weird. Well, when you put it all in totality, like Chief Fry got a new job today as the police chief in another town. You have yesterday the firefighter
What town?
thing
Wait, what town? What town? What town?
popping. I'd have to go back to Mews to check. Let me see.
Oh, no worries. I'll look. Thank you, sir.
No, I got it right up here. It's all good. I'll pull. I haven't even done Mews yet. We were all.
Oh, you haven't?
Looking forward to having you on. That I just read the one article about Chief Fry.
You went to Washington, West Richland, Washington, huh? Well, that's interesting timing, isn't it?
That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of things that have popped off here all of a sudden, and you have also. I think a lot of people read the post from Douglas Outlaw at Backwood Beats and Outlaw Rhythms, and he is stationed over there, and he has been contacting us and talking through his wife Amelia about that the whole thing going on over there with the bunker busters and all that is just smoke and mirrors. That, like, the facts just don't add up. Jesse Schul, welcome in, sir. Good to see you. Kivo again.
Yeah, Doug and I have been back and forth
Nevada.
on DMs, and Doug and I have been back and forth on DMs as well. And I told him, I said, well, that's business as usual from my experiences.
And if it had not been for this cage, I honestly don't believe that we would have seen it. But now it's clear as day that. But what a crazy. So to give you the gist of it, I'll read the email in just a second that he
What are you
sent
doing to me, dude? Are you cloning me, Kane?
I did not clone you, sir. I hand to the Dark Lordess of the underworld.
Can I give you a fun fact?
Please share.
The town that old James Fry is now the police chief of, started in the 1940s under the Manhattan Project as a Hanford nuclear site. Yeah.
Look at him now. He's so proud.
Did you just hear what I said? Matters of national security, if you will.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Dude, it's a big bite to chew. It's a big bite to chew, Tess. Okay, so you have all this crazy stuff, and this never happens in Idaho. And another thing that I noticed in the news interviews that they were doing with, I think it was the mayor or the ISP sheriff or whatever, were that the first thing that they wanted to make clear was this was a rural town. These things don't happen here. It's a nice place to live, to move here, and to raise your children. It was just like, and to visit, also to visit. It was like those three things were more important than the firefighters' names or lives or anything else even. It just struck me as crazy.
It's all very suspect, Kane. This is all very, very Idaho Contra suspects. Because look what else is going on. P. Diddy's walking. I told you that was going to happen. I'm not.
Is he walking? I heard there was a chance that was going to happen. Is he? They dismissed the case.
Can I suggest you 2 reasons why he's walking?
They did dismiss the case, though. Just confirm.
Well, they've been dropping a lot of the charges.
Oh.
Yeah. So they dropped the most serious charges already. Can I suggest to you why that occurred?
Well, I would say money's involved.
Well, I'm talking about the machinations behind it, the logistics, if you will. So, James Comey, the former FBI director and, full-time hood rat shit guy, his daughter is in the prosecutor's office in the criminal division of the Southern District of New York. Additionally, one of the former partners, I think she was a partner, she might have been an associate, at Scott Green's former law firm that he ran, a woman that he most certainly knew, left that law firm and is now in the criminal division prosecutor in the Southern District of New York.
Scott
the
Green?
Same law firm.
Coomer Scott Green?
Yes, sir. The same law firm that was representing FTX, and she's now the prosecutor for Sam Bankman-Fried and P. Diddy in these matters of what I describe as Idaho Contra.
The cellmates, P. Diddy and Sam Bankman-Fried.
Yeah, they're cellies. They got the same attorneys. So
I saw the big tanker truck of baby oil that they brought in for the two of them. Thought it was a little excessive.
That's a weekly delivery, sir. Let's not scrutinize their activities. If they need to do what they got to do in their cells, that's fine.
I need some JJ face on the screen. You got to put in some screen time for the folks at home. We're having a tough day here, but have you wrapped up your dubiage?
I mean, I'm almost there, but I'll put it out for you.
My boy. All right. Also, Twiz, we'd like to get a reaction. I'm sure you're all over the place. When you settle in, just call in for a minute and just say, I don't know 3 times, and I'll be happy, just so we hear your voice. Calm us down, I think. Yeah, so I'm trying to put together everything, and I guess the best thing that I can do, Jage, is to read the email, the original one that I got from Doug. Let's see here. I don't want to give Trish a heart attack here. Poor Trish was crying. I didn't cry. Were you crying? I wasn't crying. There's Gigi. let's see here. Open.
Yeah, so from 1943 to 1958, that town that Fry's now the police chief of was strictly matters of national security. It was
That's
reincorporated in 1958.
And what did you say Coomer Scott Green's connection was?
To the Diddy stuff. One of the attorneys that worked at that law firm that he ran, the law firm that FTX and Binance hired, the same law firm that they failed the merger of those two corporations, that caused FTX to file bankruptcy, and what I would argue is intentional arbitrage on the account of Binance. But nonetheless, it establishes an association between Coomer Scott Green's law firm, that he was the chief operating officer. I'm sorry, he was the CEO and the chief financial officer for a period of 6.5 years, I believe it was, preceding his time there at, or 4.5 years preceding his time at University of Idaho. And again, the same time he takes that job is the same time as SBF, Sam Bankman-Fried and gang, are paying off the state banking regulators in the state of Washington to do hood rat shit with crypto and banking. So that merger fails November 9th, bankruptcy on November 11th. Everyone finds out about the crypto money laundering operation in Washington State, Farmington State Bank, on November 11th. So the attorney from one of the attorneys from that firm that Scott Green most certainly was the supervisor and boss of there while he was there, she left that firm in 2021 and went to be a prosecutor in the criminal division of the Southern District of New York. The same folks that are prosecuting P. Diddy, the same folks that are prosecuting her former client, SBF, or at least her firm's former client, SBF. Idaho Contra.
It's all connected, man. And so the real story is definitely maybe not to be heard by the public, but it's different than what we're told. Once again. For sure.
Well, yeah, they just dropped all these Diddy charges. Go ahead, sir. I'll tell you which Diddy charges they dropped.
Oh, go ahead. No, please share.
So he, it says the jury's out right now, but 2 days ago they dropped a bunch of the charges before the case was handed to the jury. Let's see here. It says deliberations are off to a rocky start. That's a shocker. So look again. Here's another distraction. So now we're being told Koberger had this plea deal the same day that Diddy stuff gets handed to the jury, which is 2 days after they dropped a bunch of the charges. Right?
Hey, dude, and for the people that are new to the Purge, please hit the subscribe button. Join up with Operation GCD. He's right now you're doing Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays, right? And
I do Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Sundays, sir. Yes, sir.
And I've been a guest on the show, variety of topics, amazing guests. I've only have JJ on the show to get to his guests. That's the whole plan there.
I knew it.
They're absolutely
Andy cloned
amazing.
me.
So make sure that you're subbed up over there. And think about the rapid fire, Jake. Since
if I may, I appreciate the kind words, sir, and I hope you will be joining me for future guest appearances on Operation GCD. I recently got rave reviews from your appearance on So I Married an Axe Murderer, the Occult and Esoteric Review. I recommend folks check that out.
They especially probably like the Zach Galifianakis picture that I posted.
I enjoy the bit, dude. I mean, obviously I played into a little bit. I really didn't believe that Zach Galifianakis was in there. I was willing to believe your statement and was open to the idea, but I was also willing to play into the bit, as I'm sure you saw.
Now I've lost all credibility. Is that what you're saying?
No. I kind of figured you were bullshitting me, like I said, but I was also happy to play into the bit, right? So,
That was funny. That was a great time.
That's why I say we do an Abbott and Costello routine, right? It's Abbott and Costello.
Who does?
What's on first?
I don't know. Third base.
Who signed a plea deal?
Okay, so yeah, what I was gonna say is that it's tough to think of a correlation between the takedown of Sam Bankman-Fried, P. Diddy, and the Idaho4 case. But when you start looking at all the pieces that fall off, the little crumbs that we get that are reality, then you start to kind of form a picture where it's all power, JJ. It's all power plays. Everything's a power play, in my opinion.
Yup. And we literally have people involved in these matters that were directly involved in the money laundering operations of Iran-Contra. Leon Black, an associate of Coomer Scott Green that he attempted to procure the University of Phoenix with, and also John Chalopin, Sam Bankman-Fried's associate in the Moonstone Bank venture, Farmington State.
Run with that for a second. I need a 2-minute sidebar.
I'm not running anywhere, sir. In fact, I'm dehydrated. This edition of The Purge is brought to you by Body Armor Rehydration.
Oh, one of the good ones. Excellent, yeah.
I'm first time buyer. Gonna get it again though, because this is pretty delicious. It's the orange flavor.
How do they get the underwear in there? As I always wondered with the Body Armor.
How do they get the orange in there, dude? This is delicious.
Peels and all.
And if you're hungry, grab a sidebar.
So I want to talk about something, but let me give you a minute on that, and I'm a 10-100. I'll be right back, if that's cool.
What did you call me?
I said code 4. Code 4.
That's cool, man. I'll hold down the fort. Fellow purgers, if you're interested in more of these ideas regarding what I call Idaho Contra, please tune into Operation GCD Live this Wednesday, July 2nd at 9 p.m. Eastern Times, as I will be doing an occult and esoteric review of the 1987 cinematic masterpiece, Lethal Weapon. And you may be thinking, what does that have to do with Idaho Contra? Well, Idaho Contra is an ongoing enterprise of Iran-Contra from the 80s and the 90s. And what we see there in Lethal Weapon is indeed Iran-Contra. So Iran-Contra is, if you break it down, fundamentally speaking, is the, what is that? Is the former CIA director and director of Central Intelligence, William Colby. It's his tyrannical wet dreams come home. So he invented three programs for the U.S. intelligence apparatus under these matters of national security to operate in overseas missions. One was called Operation Gladio. It was a domestic terror campaign thing to mold society in whatever they wanted to do it with, and pass tyrannical laws to restrict liberties. We've seen a lot of that. We've seen that with McVeigh situation as well, and we've seen numerous instances of that over the years being planned out of that Nazi compound in Hayden Lake, Idaho. So you're saying point. So where Mark Furman lives today, but nonetheless, Bill Colby invents Operation Gladio, Air America, the drug trafficking epidemic that we see from the Medellin cartel and the Cali cartel from Colombia that spawned things such as the Mena, Arkansas Bill Clinton biz, and spawned things such as the crack epidemic with Freeway Rick Ross, right? And the Dark Alliance series written by Gary Webb. Highly recommend that if you want to learn more about that crack epidemic, the CIA, and these matters of national security and the drug trafficking. So we see that in Lethal Weapon. We also see the other program Bill Colby invented, and that's the Phoenix program. And that was an assassination squad to assassinate civilians in all these Southeastern Asian areas from the Philippines to Vietnam to Cambodia to Laos. By all estimations and reports and investigations through Congress, they say they killed 26,000 civilians. The South Vietnamese government claims they killed 40,000. So let's call it 32. And we'll go and we'll split it in half. And so that's true. This is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about Bill Colby and his programs. We see that in Lethal Weapon. Mel Gibson's character is one of those Phoenix program assassins. Gary Busey's character is an opposing a Phoenix program assassin from Vietnam. Same group. And now Gibson's a police detective. Now Gary Busey's involved in that. His character's involved as a Phoenix program assassin, as a hit squad for a drug trafficking operation that's an ongoing enterprise from Vietnam. So that's 1987 from, that's 20 years plus already right there. Murtaugh's friend, Danny Glover, the victim we see in the film, the first one who falls off the balcony because she's given a hot shot similar to, folks like Caden Young here in the Idaho case, right? She's given a hot shot because she's going to talk. And, she falls off the balcony because she's given a hot shot, but she's going to die anyway. They determined if she didn't fall off the balcony because of the hot shot. But nonetheless,
Friends tell
she,
us
her
Caroline
father was Murtaugh, Danny Glover's friend, Mel Gibson's partner there, from Vietnam. And when he goes to see the guy, he realized his buddy's telling him, well, his daughter got murdered because of his activities, and he was in trouble with all this ongoing enterprise from Vietnam and this drug trafficking in Los Angeles in the 1980s. And this ongoing enterprise was happening. Old Yayo Bob Evans was involved in it. In the actual real world enterprises that that are being that are kind of being fictionally described there in the Lethal Weapon series, based on real world events, though. Old Yayo Bob Evans, the legendary Hollywood film producer, gets arrested with the Medellin cartel's #1 person in America, Karen Greenberger, in 1988 in Los Angeles. I'm just saying. So there's a lot of these things that were going on that maybe the writers of Lethal Weapon knew something about, like Shane Black, the writer. He's one of my favorite writers for films, especially the buddy cop genre. He's kind of made that, if you will. But nonetheless, we see those tales there. I'll be unpacking that more and doing more comparisons this Wednesday. And next Wednesday, July 9th, I'll be having Alston Wade Picard, the host of the Underclass podcast, very brilliant young fella. He's coming on to talk direct comparisons of Idaho-Contra and Iran-Contra with me. So we're going to be unpacking a lot of these ideas in the coming weeks on Operation CCD.
Branching out. Dude, I had something that I noticed, and when we were talking before, and I forgot what it was. But let me play this little clip for you, and you can tell me
I know what it was.
If I'm tripping. It must have been Schindler's List.
I think I know. It was, yeah, shit, you beat me to it. Son of a bitch.
as Goncalves had left Utah.
Hold on, let me, tell me if I'm tripping
How dare you?
on this one here. Hold on. This is just, it was just struck me as weird here.
Friends tell us Caroline Diaz Goncalves had left Utah on a road trip to see her boyfriend earlier this month.
Hey, how you doing?
When a Mesa County, Colorado sheriff's deputy stopped her along I-70 near Fruita.
You are way too close to that semi. He even had to brake check you to get you off a little bit.
It seemed bound to be a routine traffic stop.
Give me a couple minutes to look this over and then I'll get you going, okay?
And it was. After checking her paperwork, Deputy Alexander Swink lets Goncalves continue her journey with a warning.
All right, you're good to go. You have safe travels, okay? You too. Thank you.
But a message that Zwink sent about the stop to a Signal group chat for a multi-agency drug interdiction task force
I was kind of like watching
Is that
the
Twiz?
location
Was
because
Twiz
I
up
was
in
like
here?
worried because she was going alone.
would soon bring Goncalves' trip to a permanent halt.
We saw that it froze in Grand Junction, and then it like 5-6 hours passed.
Fellow Utah student and friend Daniela Zayich says she called, texted, even reached out to local police, only to find out a day later through other friends that she was on the detainment list in Aurora.
It's been hard, but she's doing okay, and she's been able to talk to her family and call them.
Zayich says Goncalves now has a hearing set for tomorrow morning.
What she has is known as a master calendar hearing.
Jage, you still with us?
Is this the Purge?
Hey, okay, does this guy not look like Shannon Gray? Right here, I don't know if you can see him on the screen yet, Columbo.
I see an Asian lady. I see a half Asian lady.
Okay, you'll see a bald dude in a second, not just me. I think it's a 15-second delay. Anyway, so this girl, Katie Gonzalez?
Friends tell us Caroline Diaz Goncalves had left you.
My name's JJ, sir.
And here's the lawyer for her. Oh, okay. I thought Twiz had jumped in on the panel, but I guess it was just a panel. They're blocking something
Drug
out
interdiction
here.
task force.
I was kind of like watching.
Look at this. I mean, it's like that's one thing that strikes me about this case is you have all these doppelgangers. Like, for instance, we were watching on Lana's show earlier how the Well, I forgot what we were watching. Anyway, so you just have one thing after the other where it's just like right out of central casting, and they throw these other cases at us, and with these doppelgangers just keep popping up, not only in namesake, but in appearance
Her
too.
location, because I was like worried because she was going.
Did you see the guy I'm talking about, Shannon Gray, the guy? Where is it?
I see a white lady now.
Let me see here. Where is it? Look at that's like a cross between Kaylee and Xana right there. I was. Where did he go? Let me just play it from the start and we'll get it.
Friends tell us Caroline Diaz-Goncalves had left Utah on a road trip to see her boyfriend earlier this month.
Hey, how you doing?
When a Mesa County, Colorado sheriff's deputy stopped her along I-70 near Fruita.
So Shannon Gray, you remind me,
way
actually,
too
the
close to
Princess
that
of Darkness reminded me the other
He
day as
even had-
well. Someone sent me a message saying Shannon Gray was he first came to Idaho back in July 22 when he first applied to be practice law under the bar of Idaho there and get accepted in July 2022. That it was because he was getting involved in the Lori Vallow case. I haven't followed up on that yet.
Oh,
wouldn't that be weird?
Because I was like worried because she was.
And I
going
say
along.
that for this. I
Would
say that
soon
to make
bring
this point real quick.
Goncalves' trip.
I clearly I'm capable of making mistakes and not seeing things the first time I review things, and I clearly missed it. The Princess of Darkness brought it to my attention again recently that Coomer Scott Green, his father was deeply Mormon. I went back into their heritage. Yeah. OG Mormon pioneering families. Once again.
the Mormons are coming for us, Jage.
Well, now you asked me that the very first time I came on the show, and to be quite honest with you, that was clearly a blind spot I had. But now that you know that we've analyzed all these things over the many purges, four score and more than 17 purges ago, we've established a lot of Mormon connections. Now the Greens, would you believe, got on the same boat, not the precise same boat, the same convoy as the Mortensons.
Generational.
And wait for it. And literally the same boat and the same wagons, the Jensens. You know, your boy Jason Jensen, the guy that works at that coffee shop up there in Idaho.
Love that guy. The human being. He's my favorite human being.
Did he ever call you back?
I actually called him the other day on the show when I did one of those late night shows, and he did not answer. I don't know if it was that late. It was like 9 p.m.-ish maybe. Miss Potts had encouraged me to get a hold of him, and he did not answer. I left a message, and he did not respond.
Let's objectively evaluate the known knowns of what we know about Mr. Jason Jensen, and that is he is not a licensed PI in any state. The states of Idaho, Colorado do not license PIs. He hasn't been licensed in the state of Utah since 2000.
Correct.
Which he claims to be his basis of operations on his website. So that's interesting. But I don't know if that's unlawful. It would be if he did that in Ohio. I can assure you of that. That's against the laws in Ohio to run your PI business out of the state and not be licensed in that state as your home office, which would be Ohio. In that instance, his instance, Utah, and he hasn't been licensed there since 2000. So I didn't look in any further. I'm just saying, on top of that, he's got numbers listed for coffee shops. And on top of that, his ancestor Jensen got on a boat in Denmark in 1854 and came to America with the Mortensons, both of those Mortenson boys. They all joined the Mormon Church. They all got on wagons and pioneered across America, and they're all involved in this case today. Why is that?
You know, Jade, it's amazing when people say they do a deep dive. I mean, you dig deep, and I know as the people that are watching right now appreciate it, and we've definitely stumbled upon, if not landed smack dab upon, some inconsistencies and clues that nobody else has, and that will become to be appreciated by the rest of the community, I believe, as time passes. But especially moving forward right now with what we had today.
Wait, what happened today?
The news that we got that we're hearing, and the
news.
I think that your prediction for the direction of this case may be a misconstrued message where there's sources.
Breaking news.
Who are
Breaking
these
news.
sources
Breaking
that are
news.
supposed to be under gag order, for instance?
Precisely, sir. And he quotes them as sources near the prosecution, quote unquote, from Brian Hinton. That's what started all of this.
That would mean the prosecution is talking.
Exactly. And the newest one I have here from TMZ says that Xander Kernodle's family is going to fight it. So we have more chaos, discord, and distraction from anything that's going on relative to these matters of Idaho-Contra, not the least of which the matters exclusively related to Brian Kober, because this is all bullshit.
Yeah. Let's see if the Mews has gotten anything. Mew.
This is TMZ quoting the Kernodles.
Yeah, I'm sorry. What were you saying about?
In your face, sir. In your face. Let me send you the link.
I'd love to see that. Yeah, because TMZ is my go-to news source.
This is some in-your-face propaganda, because they're not even quoting Zaina's mother or father. They're quoting Zaina's paternal aunt. So let's keep that in mind here. Kim Kernodle, Zaina's aunt, who was so furious she was in tears, tells TMZ prosecutors floated the idea of a plea deal a few days ago, and the family made it clear, no way. When we spoke with Kim, this is TMZ, she was on a conference call with prosecutors. Now, why the fuck, apologies, why would the Farfignugan, would Xander Kernodle's paternal aunt be on the conference call with prosecutors when TMZ calls her, and then she says prosecutors told her, Kim Kernodle tells TMZ, at this time, she says prosecutors told her the defense approached prosecutors with a plea deal, and the prosecution went along with it to quote-unquote spare the families the pain of a trial.
Oh, give me
Kim
a break.
says that's ridiculous.
Give me a break.
Kim says that's ridiculous. I agree with Kim Kernodle. That is ridiculous, but we have different perspectives on why, I think.
Under the deal, Koberger will plead guilty to 4 counts, and in return, prosecutors will take DP off the table. Prosecutors will recommend life without the possibility of parole. A hearing is scheduled for Wednesday. Same story we got before. Now the thing just went wonky. What happened? Schindler's List? Where did it go? What happened?
Well, dude, why would they be quoting? Why would her aunt be involved in any of this?
I'm still fresh, wet behind the ears on this.
You watch your mouth, sir.
Kim says she wants the judge to delay making a decision so the families can figure out their next move. Let me get back to what Kim also says when her family got a call from the prosecutors a few days ago about a deal, they were vague. Prosecutors never mentioned taking DP off the table. What's especially puzzling, Kim says, prosecutors told her there was enough evidence to secure a guilty verdict.
Can I add some context here?
I would say that it's the Hippler friends and family plan, sir.
Well, that's obviously in effect, sir. Hippler wants us all to go fuck ourselves. But my context here is Kim Kernodle recently appeared in that Ashley Banfield Brian Hinton propaganda piece.
I see.
To frame Brian Kober.
Okay, I found the paragraph here. Let me read that real quick. When she spoke with Kim, she was on a conference call with prosecutors. She says prosecutors told her the defense approached prosecutors with a deal, and the prosecution went along to spare the families the pain of a trial. Kim says that's ridiculous because at least 2 of the families, hers and the Gonzalez family, wanted Kobergers to face a jury. Interesting. Sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to get everybody up to speed on that.
I'm gonna need to take a 5, but possibly a sidebar. But my point here is I just established a financial obligation from News Nation to Kim Kernodle. We know Brian Hinton started this propaganda. Now we have somebody else is under the payments of News Nation. At some point in time, if not still today, that is now furthering the propaganda that Brian Hinton started. Are you tracking? I just put the link in the show notes. I just put the link in there.
Okay, let me pull that up. Excuse me.
I'm gonna go grab a sidebar, sir. I'll be listening.
Welcome to The Purge, everybody. It's your first time at The Purge. Please hit that like button. It's just right down somewhere over there. And if you're new to The Purge, please hit subscribe. We would love to have you in the chat. I promise Meanie doesn't bite. She might bite today a little bit. She might be a little bit frustrated. Let's see here. I'm trying to go to the site here. Pookie, welcome in. Very nice to see you. Mikey's got a bam. One thing I was thinking about this, you guys, is that Pavarotti has solved the case, I think, consecutively 400 days in a row. And he's had all these BAMs, and he's named names of the people that are involved and the cars and everything else. And he's done some good research, whatever. So this must be a shocker because he literally backpedaled and scrambled his way to change his plea as far as Koberger goes, and then also kind of, obviously insulted a few people and hurt some feelings along the way. I only bring that up because I will say, Jeff H is, I'm sure he's watching. Jeff, good to see how you doing. He's been a very polite gentleman and not running around here kicking his heels up just quite yet, which is probably a wise move because I'm not quite sure where this is going to go right now. This is wild. It's a lot to digest in, and JJ's making that little thing stuck to my head from the thing. Sorry. Okay, what's this article here, Jage? It's a blank page. Did you just Zach Galifianakis me? I think you did. I don't see no. Oh, wait, what's this? No. Oh, wow. He's Zach Galifianakis the F out of me. Kids go to bed. What? Okay, so the last thing that we saw, and I'm not trying to insult the same people as the other creator I was speaking about just a moment ago. But we've seen two people take this route. And folks, in case you can't see because of the ads and all that stuff, this is IMDb. And when you want to talk about JJ bringing the heat again, what a bombshell. Because we've also seen the agents for Christy Gonsalves advertise here on IMDb, which is a movie and television resource, like a biography page, if you will, for movies and television and actors and actresses. And here we go. Kim Kernodle listed up there at the top. Now, she has been the source, allegedly, of a lot of information on things. When you go back to the oddity of the show we did, Pizza Fight Dad, Pizza Fight, and the call, that, if you really look at that, it makes zero sense. Why would the father get a call from the daughter saying there's a problem, and for the other daughter to say, oh, everything's cool, you're too drunk to drive, don't drive, and then seemingly without guilt never does anything about it and loses his daughter. It's an odd thing. And also, I guess Kim would have family inside information, but it doesn't seem like they're on the best of terms, right? You know, you have to admit, as much as we like Kim, that with all the stuff there, if it was Jage or I or AR or Rolamata that got busted for the amounts of things that she had there, our lives would be spent in the penitentiary. Unless we had some chunk of nugget that we could offer the state to get out of it. So I don't believe anything else when it comes to that. There's no reference on it. I don't mean to besmirch her at all, but that's the facts. They don't just let you out because you're good looking. So I don't know. And now she's saying that what difference does it make to the court what the family's next move is? Because clearly the judicial system is not about the victims. And that comes from Miss Chapin herself. And then also today on Lana's show we saw the ABC News interview, a little bit longer of a piece of it, where Emily says there will never be any justice in this case. And I think that Hunter, you know, kind of jumps in and derails what she was saying by saying not that there's alternate perpetrators, but that you can never get back the people that were unalived in this tragedy. So what I was trying to say before Jage left is that you have an incredible amount of people focus, and they're all of us, every single one of you here. Kristen Nevada, hello, welcome in. I don't know, Leslie and Billy, hello. They live. Don't change your music. Keep going strong. No reason to jump off the bandwagon just yet. You have an incredible amount of people who have uncovered the truth. Let's not taint it with whatever occurred today. We have uncovered inalienable truths, totally 100% between Bubbly Waters and AR, and AR's never gotten on the bandwagon of anything fantastical. He's stayed very even-keeled, level-headed, and always looked at the facts. Here, you might call us a Tin Hat channel, but we have definitely had some booms between Jen and JJ and all the other people that contribute here. I don't know if I have said hello, Sipping On. Very nice to see you. So let's look at the last 2 years that we've all been together, and whether I break up with you today or not, it has been one incredible journey where most of us probably started with, they got the guy, let's look at it and talk about it, and then this seems weird, that doesn't make sense, we didn't imagine that shit was real. Kids go to bed. And so you have a year and a half, 2 years, where we're looking at stuff and uncovering stuff and nothing adds up. Media lies. Instead of apologizing for the lies, they double down on the lies. And then starting with the event of there's something that started right before the release of all these body cam videos. Correct? And so since then, it has just been a rapid fire whirlwind of information and leaks and releases and testimony non-stop. Like, just every single person in here's head has been spinning, admittedly. There's no two ways around it, and nobody knows what to think. I think that many people have jumped the fence back and forth. What the hell's going on? What's this girl saying? What's that? And so it culminates here today with what could be another big deal. Here's the thing. Now we have confirmation from more than just News Nation and Ashley Banfield, or Grace Kelly, or whatever her name is. You have one of the family members saying that the actual prosecution has contacted them, saying that there's a plea deal in the works. There will be a hearing on Wednesday. Amazingly, I'm sure, knowing this case, it's going to be sealed. I hope not. And what else can I throw into the stew? You have with the body cam footage, people looking at stick figures, people playing stuff backwards. Me, right here. But looking back, hindsight's always 20/20. We can see, we know 100% everything in that PCA was, to their own admission, a lie. Am I right or wrong? And so, when you add it all up, now for him to take a plea deal, which is just amazing. Here's the thing. I wonder if they had planned on keeping him locked up as long as they could. And they never intended on going to trial. Making correction. Mommy Ball, coming with it again. I appreciate you, Mommy Ball. And so, yeah, then you have Kim Kernodle working her up through the ranks of IMDb right alongside. And you have to think of the career paths that have been laid with this particular thing. Victims becoming news persons. John Walsh, Adam Walsh's father from the 80s. The FBI Files thing or whatever. Mark and Betty, always a pleasure. Here, let's open this. I think Twiz and Heather will be okay. Let's see what we got here. Okay. So, let's see here. News Nation has learned a plea deal has been offered. Sources confirm. The prosecution... Wait, let me mute this just in case it starts playing. This is unbelievable. The man charged, source confirmed. Blah, 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 blah. A court hearing for a change of plea, I say, will be Wednesday. No word on whether it's close to the public. Koberger, a former graduate student in criminal justice. I never really correlated that Chief Fry had the same degree as Koberger. That is, for some reason, strikingly important in all of a sudden. Where's the retraction? I don't see it, Mommy Ball. Family member told the Koberger all the power had been given. A family member of one of the victims told News Nation that upon hearing of the plea deal, she felt like all the power had been given back to Koberger. So yeah, I can't help but wonder if, because this same thing happened in the Brady. What Brady? What's his name? When Reagan, the guy shot Reagan. If anybody remembers the name of that guy, for some reason, John Hinckley. He was found guilty, and then, guess what? They put him in a mental institution instead of incarcerating him. And he was released, 30 years later. Now owns a music shop, runs a music shop. Guess where? I believe it's Virginia or Maryland, in a high 3-letter area. Put the two maths together, Idaho and regular math, and you might be able to see what I'm talking about there. And JJ himself wonders if Hinckley was ever even incarcerated. Once again, as people are asking in this very chat right now, I wonder if BK is just in a safe house, not even incarcerated. And this whole thing is smoke and mirrors. They're throwing smoke and mirrors everywhere. The gist of what Douglas Outlaw told me was that with the Iran and Israel thing, that it's smoke and mirrors for something larger that they're not telling us about. But at the same time, I just received a message from him saying that he was being deployed to the shores of Iran and Israel. So, you know, he's not being told anything, but nothing seems to be adding up there. It seems like just so many things were... Okay, so yeah, to throw into the stew, you have the firefighters being shot. So you set a fire and bring in first responders, and then somebody snipes them, and it creates this whole other business. And so everybody's questioning, why is this happening now? I mean, everything is happening as if it was pre-planned. It's just like it's like dot to dot to dot to dot. You can just, if you can connect the dot without going outside the lines, you can see a clearer picture. But, you know, you have to think about the body cam release. You have the Dateline things, and you have to think, with these things, they let them air. And then they act all butthurt about it. Like, what on earth are you butthurt about? You had a week to block that from airing. If it was a deception practice or some type of leak from somebody that needed to be, then you could have just stopped it. But they made no effort to do that. But then he's just pounding his fist, you know, in the toilet there, about how angry he is. And then they have two more. And so what I wanted to talk, and hopefully when JJ comes back here, I'll remember it, and I want to see where he is on it. But I made a post, and if it makes me look smart, but believe me, I'm not. I'm just a pretty face. I'm here to voice the words of Pippilopotamus. You know, he's the brains behind the Heather Fitzgerald outfit there, and Kickboy. The guy's name is Jason Blum. And so what I'm trying to figure out, let me go to the actual post here, guys. And thank you for being with us today. If you would like to, please make your opinion known and go ahead and push that like button. Do it for Miss Potts, if not for me. Just click on it one time. Actually, click on it twice, just to make sure you got it right. So let's look at the posts I have here. And here he is, Jason Blum. He did Paranormal Activity. He did, let me pull up his little thing. And we all know who Howard Blum is. And so I don't know if Jage had a chance to look into this more. I haven't. But I think there is in his actual IMDb thing here, or Wikipedia thing that I posted, some kind of connection. So hang on, let me click on the link. I don't know if anybody caught this. So the reason I say it makes me look like a genius is because he also made the movie The Purge. So, I'm just kidding. He did Insidious. All these horror fiction movies, right? Some of the best, some of my favorite movies, actually. Guess where he's from? Born in L.A., 1969. He's about a month younger than me. The son of art professor Shirley Nielsen Blum and independent art dealer Irving Blum. His father served as director of the Ferris Gallery, and he is of Jewish descent. He graduated from New York's Vassar College. He was a roommate of future filmmaker Noah Baumbach. During his time there, he and later produced Baumbach's first film, Kicking and Screaming. Blum found work as an executive for Bob and Harvey Weinstein. So you know you got Yayo Bob connections right there. That's a guarantee. And so you got Paramount Pictures, which I think is an important part of this case, and the whole movie set action figure portion of it is they're hiring the best of the best writers to script this whole thing. And how well have they kept us confused? As much as work and as much time that we spent together on it, how well have they kept us spinning around in circles? Remember in the beginning We just kept trying over and over to make the PCA make sense. What's frozen shock face? Where was the dog? Where was the boyfriend? And now we know that the 1112 house was facing David Loach's house. And now we're like, well, David Loach saw the car. They're pointing at the car at 4 o'clock in the morning from David Loach's house, which was empty, and then all of a sudden there's 4 people in it. So you can't help but wonder, were those 4 people the ones that were running across the bridge or whatever on Banfield behind the cops? And then all of a sudden, at the same time, they appear in the house. On the 3rd floor, the lookout, where they can see everything that's going on and go, look, there's the cops going by. Because, you know, you saw Tommy Jude the other day where he's talking about there's no sound from this car at all. I know my Hyundai Elantra sitting out there, 2018, when I get on it, that you definitely hear the engine. I've actually asked Jimmy, Rockford's son, my mechanic, I was like, is it louder than normal for an Elantra? Because you wouldn't think. This is a little 4-banger, right? And so, no, that's perfectly normal. It sounds good. I was like, did I need a muffler or something? And no, it's fine. And so with the hybrid, they actually, I've talked about it before on the show, how BMW was caught piping engine noise in through the speakers so that the owner or the driver of the car would know that the car was running. That was what widely reported on. Let me go back and look at the chat. I hope you guys are picking what I'm laying down. Chris Nevada, good to see you. Me too. I would love to hear what Cy has to say. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, dude. Cy pretty much nailed them to the wall. So it's like they prance around. They act like they've got the guy, you know. And then the other day, allegedly somebody's saying that BK's sister is the one who reported him to the FBI. Just so many things. I mean, people have been saying that since the beginning. It's absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, I definitely don't want to know what they think. Hold on, somebody's Bob clone Kane evidence. Undercover hybrid. Tonka, I can agree. Yeah. Okay, so I wasn't even reading the chat, and we're on the same page. Calling BS. This new info means nothing unless the defense responds. How would the news find out that? Here's the thing: if the prosecution said it, and there really was no deal, that would just be, again, oh, they're trying to get him off on a technicality, squawking over there. He said he wanted to do that. Again, would implicate him and make him look guilty. So that very well could be, like I've been saying all along, everything that they're doing with all these things. The body cam release, the Linda Lane, you name it, has just, especially within the last few weeks, it's just been a whirlwind. And it's stuff that's not relevant for trial, but makes him look guilty. They use it to make him look guilty. I'm hearing motions. Hippler stated, let me know if any are signed. Yeah, Hippler said, life without parole, all scripted. Somebody put a link. Heather, okay. Thank you for that link, Mommy Ball. I appreciate that. Let's see. Brian Koberger's mother didn't want him to enter a not guilty plea. Here's why. In January 2023, Brian Koberger was extradited from a jail in Pennsylvania to a facility in Idaho where he will stand trial for the crime. While the logistics of a case are not nearly as interesting as the more flashy parts, it's important to show how long the road to Koberger's trial has been. Yeah, we all know. We're all road-worn from it. According to Fox 13, his trial has been scheduled for July 30th, 2025, which is nearly 3 years after the atrocity. The process has been frustrating for the victims' families, but the sources close to Kohberger's family say his mother is partially to blame for some of the delay. Here's what we know. Brian Kohberger's mother could be delaying his trial. An unnamed... Who is this? MSN? Is this from MSN? This is from... Bravo, Heather. Bravo, my friend. Lucy Morningstar, everyone. The Dark Princess of the Underworld. This article is from... I'm sorry. Let me move JJ's sidebar real quick. Hang on one second. This article brought to you by Distractify. Holy shit, right there. I love you, Lucy. I never say it, but I love your dog. Oh my goodness. Hold on, I think we got a JJ return here, and what did I do? What have I done? Where did it go? Jage? We can't... I took you away, sir. Hang on one second. What did I do? I'm not cloning you, bro. I'm not cloning you. Pookie, welcome in. Nice to see you. I didn't clone you once, sir. There has not been a hint of cloning. I can't do things. No. Okay, I found it.
Kohberger's mother for months.
Have we? Okay, this is the first that I'm familiar with this. It's from Distractify, JJ. How could we be wrong?
Of course it is.
Unreal, Heather. That's epic. Okay, so let's see what the article says here. An unnamed source, surprise,
typical,
is claiming to be close to the Kohberger family, told the Daily Mail that the defendant's mother is encouraging her son... Wait. Okay, I'm confused. To plead not guilty in the face of mounting evidence. Kohberger was at... Now that alone is incriminating right there.
Or where's the mounting evidence, sir? Where is it?
Yeah, it's mounting the other way. And, but through desperation, they make the lies true. And they use their media partners to expose the true lies.
Through repeating it over and over again, quoting unnamed sources, or as Brian did today, sources near the prosecution.
Sources near. It's like in True Lies when he says, if you have anything to say, speak into the purse.
And if you have anything to say, come on down to the purge.
Correct. Welcome into the purge, everyone.
For your latest fast food news and the occasional Idaho4 talk.
I do have a little bit of info. Maybe I can find it here. That is JJ News. Little Debbie has a new snack line, and it's right up there with type 2 diabetes stuff. Maybe I'll get to that in a second. Let's finish reading this article real quick. At first they said the mother was saying to not plead not... Anyway, in the face of mounting evidence, Kohberger was at the Pennsylvania home of his parents, Mary Ann and Michael Kohberger, when he was arrested in December. As far as his childhood goes, witnesses said that his family was pretty normal and described Marion as warm-hearted. Blah, 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 history of Kohberger. This is weird. As the trial approaches, Kohberger's defense team continues to make requests that will benefit their client. His lawyer has asked the court to limit the use of the word MRDR and want him to ban terms like psychopath, sociopath, and even references to bushy eyebrows. They have also moved to Kia. We know all this. The defense also refuses to use the phrase DP and insists on saying the state is attempting to unalive Kohberger. The prosecution has demanded the state stop doing this. In April 2025, an Idaho judge ruled that if Kohberger was convicted, the DP is on the table. When it comes, that's just the most ridiculous article I've ever read in my life.
I don't disagree.
Listen here. Let me just show you. This is from Distractify. Remember, Brian Kohberger's mother didn't want him to enter a not guilty plea. Here's why. And then they literally right here say, an unnamed source claiming to be close to the Kohberger family told the Daily Mail the defendant's mother is encouraging her son to plead not guilty. So they literally contradict themselves in their own article, and they contradict their own headline, Jage. What do you make of that?
Typical.
What would Hippler say, I wonder?
Hippler wants us all to go fuck ourselves, sir. So I'm looking at the case of Kim Kernodle and the matter of guardianship. She had guardianship of Zaina and her sister Jasmine at one point in time.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. It seems like Jasmine and her are still close. I don't know what Zaina's relationship was. Well, he hasn't pleaded yet, Mark and Betty. We haven't seen. It's like, oh God, what's his name was saying earlier. I won't believe it until it's in writing for sure. If it is a thing, then it's a thing. But up till that point, we can't. What other angle could you put on this, Jage?
Well, I mean, regardless if she had guardianship for 2 years, when they were minors many years ago, 20 years ago, but regardless of that fact, why would not only would the prosecution be speaking to whom on a gag case, right? And these sources near the prosecution, I don't know where they're getting information, but why would Kim Kernodle, who's gotten a paycheck from News Nation before, the folks who started today's conversation,
yes,
Brian and Sweet,
we know of at least two occasions. Yes, sir.
Why would Kim Kernodle then be involved in a conference call with prosecutors on these matters? She's not the guardian of the victim. She's not the mother of the victim.
And she's also a person that is close to the case that is allegedly leaking information. Is that correct?
There you go.
So why would they? What a coincidence that she was on the phone with the prosecution at the time. News Nation.
Oh wait, yeah. Hold on, News Nation. I'm on the phone with the prosecutors right now. Hold on.
Well, News Nation is a lot like me. They never let the truth get in the way of a good story, like Sarge says.
Yeah, that's the whole story is preposterous. And again, the whole conversation got started by Brian Ninton and sources near the prosecution.
Yeah, and thinking back, I was talking about how when we used to watch, true crime documentaries and stuff on Court TV and these type of things, you see these guys and you're like, oh wow, what a great story. And now we see these people who they really are. Jage, the other day I shaved my mustache up a little bit higher on one side, so it kind of gave me that little Billy Idol look. Do I look like Billy Idol right now? Would you say?
You look a bit Cuban, sir.
Tom Cruise?
Tom Cruise? Do you perhaps have a nice panini press? You can make yourself a nice Cuban sandwich.
I don't. I leave that to professionals. I live in Tampa, bro. You know that. My dad used to date this Cuban waitress at a place, and it's a hole in the wall fly restaurant. Like there's flies flying around. Best Cuban you'll ever have, and the best Cubans, their press will always have tin foil on it. Look for that. It's 100% important.
Yeah.
The pulled pork is probably the most important part of the Cuban sandwich, I would say. That and the pickle.
I'm a bread man myself. I mean, while I do appreciate a nice juicy pork on my Cuban sandwich, but you're coming at me with some bad bread, I'm going to throw it right back.
Good bread makes the huge difference all the way around anything. Focaccia bread is terrific. I had a whole loaf of jalapeno cheese focaccia bread the other day. Oh man, that was bomb.
Sure.
You could put anything on. You could put bologna on good bread. It's the best damn sandwich you ever had. You know what I mean?
Who are you focacciaing around here, buddy?
You gotta go. You gotta. That's what they told me. Okay, so. Anyway, where did we leave off? What are we at? Hour 2.5. That's a mini purge right there, especially with all we got going on today. Are you still rocking the mohawk? People are asking in the chat.
I got a fresh cut on my mohawk today, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, let's get a little peek there if you don't mind. You keep that under headbands.
Profile views, a couple of profile views, if you will.
There you go. I'll take it. All out.
I enjoy the purge. I always do. Appreciate the invite and fellow purgers. Always a good time. I got a good hour left in me here. If you want.
I'll drain you dry. I put 16 pots of coffee in today, and I'm trying to get my money back for all the Diet Mountain Dews I'm sending you, and the hula burgers. Thank you, Carlos
I hear you.
Ponte 9399. That's another thing that has developed as these crazy stories and wild events have spun out of control in the last few days is the name thing with YouTube. And we heard and we have confirmed that the platform itself has been going after creators. They took away that one lady, and then Miss Potts, Podcast with Peterson's channel was attacked, and they have been, as you well know, analyzing. Now, they came up yesterday with a video from a year ago where it was a metal detector video. And they were looking for scraps of metal in the Leonard Skinner area where the plane crashed. And they copyrighted that. But thankfully, they gave me the chance to remove the content. And then I contacted the creator. He's like, oh, all I wanted you to do was link to the show because we've got, a longer show with it. And I'm like, I already removed it. You know what I mean? And so and then I think that this whole name thing is a big part of what's going on. They're trying to shut down anybody that's trying to find fault in the state's case here, and also I've heard with P. Diddy, and also with Luigi Mangione as well.
Oh, Luigi Mangione, the guy with the same attorneys as Sam Bankman-Fried and P. Diddy?
The guy from Pennsylvania that you don't see his face when he's supposedly committing the crime on video. Just another hoodie guy. And
Mangione back with the Nancy Pelosi's family. Her father and her brother go way back with Mangiane's father and his grandfather.
So, dude, let's cut through the bullshit, Jage. What the fuck? What could possibly be the issue of national security with all these things? I think it's easier to see with P. Diddy, right? Because you got names named. With this case, you're talking about, it looks like far right-wing militias somehow tangled up with government agencies or at odds with government agencies, because we've proven on this show over and over that there is much more tension. It's palpable than when you say, oh, there's tensions in the Moscow area. There's tensions in Idaho. Well, we're talking about people that are sitting there with their fingers on the trigger, as opposed to, and I mean, they're giving these symbols to each other right there on video. And yesterday, I don't know if it was Meg P or somebody. Oh, it was Miss Potts. Was in Pennsylvania, and there's a lot of churches in Pennsylvania. And one of them she came across. I don't know if you watched her little pop-up live, but one of them she came across was the Christ Church in Pennsylvania. And I'm like, you can't write this shit, bro. In Philly.
Was it the same Christ Church?
I believe so. Now there is with the the neo right-wing militia group, they have a church, and they call it Church of the Creator. And they have what's like a white people Bible. I watched this whole documentary about them by this guy who was a major member in that. He's like, I feel bad for all the terrible things I did. We would just roll through town, and I guess there's skinheads that are anti-racist, and then there's skinheads that are racist. And he said they would literally go around trying to find those anti-racist people and kick. They called it a kick party. And they would just jump these people when they see them, or if they saw anybody of color, they would do the same thing. And he said that when they got back to the clubhouse, then the leader would read something from the white people's Bible, the Church of the Creator, and that was their doctrine to justify what they have done. I found that very interesting. Rectangular airplanes.
You make some great points, sir. And when you say it's white nationalists or government operations, they're not mutually exclusive. And I would say the evidence in the past history of these circumstances, all going back to that same Nazi compound in around Hayden Lake, it all demonstrates these are domestic terror operations orchestrated by what I like to call unintelligent agencies.
And I can't help but make that Ruby Ridge connection with the McVeigh reference as if it's a retaliatory name drop.
Well, I'll connect the two for you. So Randy Weaver was connected to that same Nazi compound. Randy Weaver was part of that same ongoing enterprises of hood rat shit. Right-wing compound. He's part of that same ongoing enterprise of hood rat poop that I was describing with Air America, drug trafficking, and domestic terror and assassination programs, courtesy of Bill Colby. Rug programs, courtesy of Bill Colby. So, in the FBI PATCON documents concerning the matters relative to Oklahoma City and Timothy McVeigh, the individual listed as an undercover agent is 100% proven, even though it's redacted. The redacted name is the same individual who negotiated the truce with Randy Weaver at Ruby Ridge. And that man is retired Green Beret, Bill Colby's troop, Special Forces Colonel, Bo Gritz. Now, so Bo Gritz is listed as an undercover agent for the FBI in their own PATCON documents. There's another name that's blanked out, and to the best of my guess, and my guest a few weeks ago, Troublemaker Jonah, who we were playing this, Mad Libs of these PATCON documents, right? Trying to guess the blank spaces.
Love it.
And we both agreed that was likely Timothy McVeigh. Likely Timothy McVeigh was the other undercover agent listed.
Undercover agent listed for the Ruby Ridge?
For the FBI. So Ruby Ridge was negotiated by Bo Gritz. Bo Gritz was Special Forces Green Beret for Bill Colby's, hood rat poop command. And Bo Gritz is listed in the FBI PATCON documents as a blanked out name saying he's the one who negotiated the truce. We know that was Bo Gritz. So we know that blanked out name was Bo Gritz.
So there's no relation to Mel Kiss My Gritz.
Negative, sir. So the other name on there.
So McVeigh, perhaps an insider on the Ruby Ridge, inflamed defector or patsy.
Well, we don't know all the intimate details of all these things. What I'm saying here is we don't. What I'm demonstrating here is this is more of the same operations out of that same right-wing compound up there, the same place over multiple decades, the same place that Mark Furman's been connected to since the early 80s. So this is the same place that Randy Weaver was connected to. This is the same place Timothy McVeigh was connected to. This is where these plans get hatched out from. This is documented through numerous investigations over the years. So the other name in there would be Timothy McVeigh. He's listed as an active duty Special Forces operative who's operating as a UCA, an undercover agent for the FBI in the matters of PATCON concerning Oklahoma City. So if that's the case, we do have objective evidence demonstrating that. We have video of Timothy McVeigh at Camp Atterbury, Indiana. Camp Atterbury, Indiana is a component of the 20th Special Forces Group. Back to Bill Colby's command of hood rat poop.
Hold that thought, JJ. When you say camp, can you please, for the people in the back? And while you stew over that, They Live says, I met guys that met Timmy and they knew he was a Fed. Now, here's my take before you wrap up, is that if he was a Fed, no one can hurt. It's like I say, Jage, is that nobody ever stabs you in the chest. You always get, your friends always stab you in the back where it hurts the most. So if somebody was previously a Fed, they would know how to hurt you the most by parking a loaded truck in front of the J. Murrow Federal Building and detonating. Possibly.
Well, let's look at it from a slightly different angle. What if that man was serving some hood rat poop operations to pass draconian and tyrannical laws in the nation? Because immediately following the OKC situation, that what I just described there, the perpetration of domestic terror for the purposes of passing tyrannical laws to restrict liberties, is the express purpose of Bill Colby's Operation Gladio. That is the express purpose. So, what I'm inferring is they're just doing what they tell us they were doing. So, and in that regard, the Patriot Act that was passed in the wake of September 11th was attempted to be passed. It was called, Joe Biden drafted it in 1995 to pass in the immediate aftermath of OKC.
I love to hate old Joe Biden. Like the old Joe Biden. I mean, I literally had a palatable hate for the guy. Now, of course, after what he put us all through for the last 4 years, I think it's a collective effort. But, man, what a scumbag, right? Allegedly.
You ain't kidding.
Oh, man. Okay, yeah, used a lot of big words there. Kind of dumb that down for me for Jesse Schul for a little bit.
Which part?
The big words.
So we see the same domestic terror campaigns being hatched out in 1984, 1994. I would suggest 2004. We don't have the FBI documents for that. And I would say an ongoing enterprise, the same ongoing enterprise I was talking about before, with all these activities surrounding the same quote unquote matters of national security,
right,
and operating and being planned out of the same right wing camp up there in northern Idaho, where all these things go back to, from Ruby Ridge to OKC to Mark Furman to the murder of Nicole Brown Simpson in that campaign to the murder of Alan Berg in that campaign in '84, or the whatever you want to censor that as. And it's an ongoing enterprise. We know that Ruby Ridge was connected to it. We know OKC. We know Mark Furman was connected to it. We know those other terror campaigns were connected to it. What we don't know is that it's an ongoing enterprise, and that's what we're witnessing aspects of today.
So it only strikes me just kind of vicariously is that they've gotten better at selling the product through the years, just as the fraternities have gotten better at stewing the pot and making maybe tragic accidents or deliberate acts of violence look like accidents. And whereas before, like what Jen always used to say on the show, is that, before somebody would fall off a balcony or they would get hazed, and now they drown in an inch of water, whereas in 1800 they had to go to war because of some type of national security issue. Now they're better at selling it. It seems like they just keep wrapping the product up in a prettier package. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, to a certain extent, yeah, they have adapted their and evolved some of their tactics. I would argue it's just as sloppy, if not worse, because folks get dumber and dumber over generations in this network. They hire the hood rat folks that run these things hire more dumb and depraved people, and over time they keep hiring more dumb and depraved people. That gets there's a deleterious effects to your organization when you have.
Hold on, I got somebody at the door. Hang on one second.
Tell them to come on in. So my point on Timothy McVeigh is, we know from the FBI PATCON documents that Bo Gritz, the man who negotiated the Ruby Ridge situation, who Randy Weaver's part of the same the same Army backgrounds, we know that he negotiates that. We know Bo Gritz is the undercover agent that's listed as the retired Army Special Forces guy in the PATCON documents, because the PATCON documents say Operation PATCON, the FBI's operations around the whole situation there with McVeigh, We know those documents say that the man who negotiated Ruby Ridge is a retired U.S. Army officer who is the UCA in that operation, and his name is blanked out. But we know that was Bo Gritz who negotiated that truce at Ruby Ridge.
No relation to
he's
Kiss My
retired at
Grits.
Ruby Ridge. No relation, sir. And we know the next name listed as the other undercover agent in those documents is listed as an active duty Special Forces Green Beret, and his name is blanked out. And I then, on top of that, well, not only does Timothy McVeigh's name fit in all those, if we play Mad Libs with that name and through those documents, Timothy McVeigh fits with the activities described. And on top of that, we have video evidence of Timothy McVeigh at Camp Atterbury, Indiana, which is one of the units from the 20th Special Forces Group, which goes back to all these hood rat poop operations of Bill Colby.
Are you coming back on with Face, or are you still busy?
I'm almost done here with my duty.
Okay, so did you catch my little Jason Blum interlude there that I did?
Yeah. I got it all right, sir. I got a lot of statements. What do you got for me?
Did you catch my dissertation on that there? I just kind of read his Wikipedia, really. And I was like, look, you have people involved, and I thought it was ironic that he did Paranormal Activity and The Purge was Jason Blum's project. He's done, here you have, I didn't find any direct correlation to Howard Bloom, but you did have Harvey Weinstein's name come up, which you presented over and over, the connection to Yayo Bob. So they're within the circle of trust right there. And so whether I'm not trying to say Jason Blum or Blum is necessarily involved, but are they related? Is Howard Blum and Jason Blum some type of relation that you know?
I wouldn't doubt it. I know Blum's dad's from New York, so I'll look into it and get back to you. But here's an interesting tale. Blum's dad's definitely connected to the process. He's a friend of Andy Warhol. He's the guy that entered, he's...
You talking about Howard Blum here?
Talking about Jason Blum.
Oh, thank you. Okay, good. Okay.
Irving Blum's father was certainly connected to the process. So your connections, your gut instincts and your assessment there, sir, are spot on, because obviously there are some Yayo Bob rears his ugly head, but Andy Warhol was the man, or Irving Blum, Jason Blum's father, is the man who introduced Andy Warhol to the West Coast. I'll get back to you on whether or not they're related to Howard Blum, but I will also say this. Jason Blum's production company produced a show on Oxygen TV network called The Hunt for the Smiley Face Killers, a 6-part miniseries back in 2019. Right? So more process stuff, if you ask me, but nonetheless, that production company read some of my statements on Twixter and contacted me to do an interview providing an analysis on a radio show and commentary and review of their TV program.
Really?
So yeah.
So you struck a chord with that one for sure. There's Douglas. Oh, is that Doug Outlaw? They're planning domestic terrorist vibes to sway public perception before a verdict. Timothy McVeigh is not a casual name drop. Just woke up thinking my IUD was beeping. Turns out it was smoke alarm. Please don't get an IUD, please. Beep. Doug, good to see you, man. Thank you so much for being over there and protecting our freedom, man. And we'll miss you, and our thoughts will be with you on July 4th, brother. And I hope you get back safely to Amelia and your baby there. FBI raids Kane B the Spurge. Kane BS the Spurge, as J-Rod calls it. Okay, I'm sorry, JJ. Was I interrupted you, huh?
I don't think so. No, I just think you're spot on there. Bloom's an interesting character. He's, I don't know why he wanted to cover the smiley face killings, but once I figured that out later, I was, his father's connections. I was like, well, that's interesting.
What a weird. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what occurs as far as with the platform up and down. I always say views come and go, and you earn your place. but it does seem that at times there's other forces at work because I always look when I post a thumbnail to see on my alt accounts to see where in the homepage on other people's pages where my show will lie. And this very show we're watching right here, it wasn't even on the page. And then Trish went and looked, and it was at the very, very bottom. Now these are subscribers that have spent, I would have to say, thousands of hours watching this very show, hundreds at least, if not more. And so I think in the
they might be hungry.
They might need a sidebar.
That much to the purge, you might need a sidebar.
The sidebar sounds really good right now. I might have to run up to the. Do they still have sidebars at the Dollar General? Have they been released yet? I think there was a re-release, a peanut butter sidebar. You can't top that. But anyway,
yes, you can. You can throw in some chocolate there.
Chocolate and peanut butter. Now you're talking about, that's an Idaho thing when you talk about controversy. All right, Jage, let's take a 15-minute break for the folks that are just jumping in here. I'm gonna play the reel, and we'll talk about some stuff and jump back into it and let everybody hang out with us. What do you think? Or should we shut it down? You want to shut it down?
Oh no, we're good. I can go for another probably 15 minutes.
All right. 15 minutes. That's like a micro.
We're taking a 15-minute break. You said
15-minute break. Yeah.
Well, I can go for another 30 minutes after the 15-minute break.
I need more, JJ. I want 45 minutes.
I apologize, sir. I scheduled a podcast with your former crush, Cosmic Peach, at 10 p.m.
Oh, the Peach. All right. Well, that's acceptable. As long as it's not Deb. Watch the smoking, Jage. Smoke. Censors are watching. All right, I'll remove that.
I'm clearly a mess.
You're causing me much more work than necessary. All right, let's shut her down.
I do apologize. We're shutting her down.
Yeah, I think that's enough for today.
Well, let's put a bow on today's discussion, then.
All right. I got no problem with that. Do you have a nice pink bow we can wrap up?
Well, I don't know, because you were trying to break up with everybody earlier. I'm just curious to know where your head's at.
I know. Yeah, I've let them all back in. Heather picked up on that. I guess I'd like to join Sarge. I'd like to have a little chat with him if you want to join me on panel over there. If you got a couple more minutes in you before.
Oh, sure, dude. All right. Well, we can do that, but I just want to, and we can call it a day here. I just want to for the folks for the purposes of our conversation and the edification of the purgers there, I'd like to put a bow on it, for folks.
No, please do. I think my dumb opinion is digestible, but we could always use a little more insight into some of your shenanigans at times. So feel free to speak freely, sir.
I think the biggest takeaway today is, and especially given all of the circumstances, secrecy, as Steve G says, gag orders are for matters of national security. So I think all of the propaganda, all the lies, all the tomfoolery and shenanigans, and not the good shenanigans that we've all witnessed here and discussed here on the Purge, and in this case, and I think we should consider that before jumping to any conclusions when Brian Hinton quote sources near the prosecution.
Agreed. Okay. All right. And then I guess I'd just like to thank everybody for all the times we've had together.
I knew you were going to start breaking up with folks again. I knew it.
I couldn't miss the opportunity, bro. No, we'll see here soon on the Purge, one way or the other. There's always the real. There's always fun stuff to talk about. And JJ has a much deeper look into the bigger picture of everything. So
you sound undernourished. Perhaps you need a sidebar.
We're going to sell 1 million of those. You know that, right? It's the lawyer snack that keeps on snacking. So, yeah, if you're hungry, snap into a sidebar. So yeah, thank you for everybody for being here, and Megs, thank you so much, and everybody for the super chats. I'm sorry, I know there were Carlos Ponte and Typically Unique, member for 3 months, and I've got members that have been going way back, Victorine, and way back to when I first got memberships. So I want to thank everybody for all that, and I will see you out there on the YouTube streets. Always a pleasure, Jage, and I'll tune in with you and Cosmic Peach a little bit later. If you want, you can post a link to that show if you don't mind.
I don't think it's live.
Oh, okay, you're just taping something.
It's on her show.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's on her show.
Well, yeah.
What was the show you're talking about? Where are you going Friday?
Sergeant Friday Speaks His Mind. I think it's called, in Romper Room. And I called him out.
Can you post a link? And I'll see if I can join y'all over there.
Yeah, sure. I called him out the other day because he kept saying up and down that Hippler was fair and balanced, and then after he denied the continuance, I said, "You still think he's fair and balanced?" And he's like, "Well, he really let me down on that one." And I'm like, "He's been letting us down all along, man. What the hell are you talking about?"
He clearly Sergeant Friday there wasn't familiar with the Hippler Friends and Family program, but it sounds like he's up to it now.
He was not on board with any of it. Oh gosh, hold on, I got a text.
That's fine. Well, it sounds like he's picking up on it. That's good news, right? Again, you know, the one thing, that's what I'm saying. Like everyone at one point in time in this case has wanted to believe something was being honest and objective, right? So
Lana made a good
things, but we now know
she
none
said
of it
that
is, right? We now know none of it.
Oh, Dago and Jesse Schul, your favorite guys, are on the show over there right now. So maybe we can join them if you guys want to join us for a panel discussion over there with Mr. Sergeant Friday. Thank you, Lucy. I can't call Heather Lucy anything but Lucy anymore. It just doesn't work. I think she's going to have to legally
she's
change
the
that
Princess
name.
of Darkness, right?
Yeah, I mean, she is. She really, truly is. If people only knew the half of it, then they would see. But yeah, okay. Well, always a pleasure, JJ. We'll do it again, probably around the 4th or a little bit after, something like that, and wrap up where we're at.
Good purging, folks. See you next purge.
Always a pleasure. Thank you, everybody, and I'll see you a bit later there. But you're good, Mommy Ball. Have a great evening and enjoy the rest of your week. I'll see you soon.